Welcome back, Truth Seeker. This might end up being a rather long stream because I'm going to begin writing what I intend to hand out at Gonzaga September 5th, the first weekend of the new school year at Gonzaga. Again, we'll be there again educating the students of that Jesuit university with what their university has to do with the major fire that just burned down a lot of properties in Spokane. Again, the Jesuit universities, when they graduate, they say, just like this, go forth and set the world on fire. And once upon a time, Mark Carney did that himself, the current Prime Minister of Canada. And I've been talking a lot about the fire ritual in Spokane. Of course, there's fires breaking out all over, but there's another record fire happening right now a little bit north of Spokane in Canada, the Bald Range wildfire. And this fire started and was almost in the snap of fingers up to 20,000 acres, causing mass evacuations and the loss of towns. And we're going to talk about how the same exact patterns I'm talking about with what went down in Spokane are the same patterns all over this thing. And the ritualism is amazing. Amazing. It's amazing how they do this. Again, you would never catch this if you weren't aware of the things that we're aware of and the things I've been educating about since August of 2013. And the world needs to catch on and learn what we're talking about because it is undeniable. What is being done, these purposefully set fires, it's part of a long-term plan. They need to create enough chaos to make people submit to major agendas. They need to convince the world that climate change is happening, and that is the reason these fires are occurring, so that people will submit to the new agendas, the new laws, the new policies, the new way of living, where every last thing you do is tracked, rationed. And again, all things good and bad. You know, I think these people who are setting the most beautiful places in the world on fire right now, I think they actually do have a long-term positive intention. It's just the way they're going about things is absolutely insane. And that's how they've always worked, and the world's been slow to catch on, you know. They didn't realize that 9/11 was one of these operations, and Cooties 19 was one of these operations, and setting fires everywhere is one of these operations, and it's the same group of Jesuits behind all of it. Same ones that have been warned about for centuries that were suppressed. This latest fire just began on the anniversary of the Jesuit suppression ending. And funny enough, the premier for British Columbia, his birthday is July 21st, just like yours truly. That's the anniversary of the Jesuit suppression beginning. But yeah, just look at this. I mean, it's the exact same thing, and I've been educating about this same pattern for years. Look at the jokes here with the Bald Range fire. Just look at it, you guys. Let's go through it. Let's go through it, and then let's talk more about Spokane. But yeah, they're calling this the Bald Range wildfire. Look at the gematria, guys. 87. What day did it begin? It began Friday night, 8/7. It started as a small fire at about 5:30 p.m. local time, and by sunset, it was already up to 20,000 acres. 20,000 acres is bigger than Manhattan. It's a big area. Just rapidly incinerated within, sunset was a few hours later, you guys. Doesn't sound very natural. But yeah, on 8/7, the Bald Range wildfire just comes out of nowhere and burns down the area, including Summerland. Remember in Gematria, summer equals 26? Another big summer story in the news is the killings at 47 Summer Street, the mom who took out her children, which followed the story of the Michigan dad taking out his family and his 6 children. Anyway, yeah, yesterday, August 7th, the anniversary of the Jesuit suppression. If you missed my work on Messi's father's death on this day, you should check that out. If you missed my work on the Thailand mass shooting that's getting gun rights taken away in that country, as the Prime Minister said, you should check out my work on that because it is the Jesuits pulling the strings on all these things. But yeah, the Premier of British Columbia, his birthday is July 21st, the anniversary of the Jesuit suppression beginning. And the leader of the Jesuits is known as the Superior General, a title that equals 87. The first Superior General was Ignatius of Loyola, 87. The Jesuit universities paid tribute to him with this motto, "Go forth and set the world on fire." It's not known for sure if Ignatius of Loyola said those exact words himself, but the Jesuits, they use this phrase, and it's in tribute to Luke 12:49. The verses about, making the world burn and dividing the family against the family, as politics do. And remember, the Jesuits are the Society of Jesus. Jesuits, instigating things like Cooties 19 and climate change. All of these topics are very divisive within families. But yeah, the Jesuits served the Catholic Church, 87. Mark Carney, Jesuit educated, as was Trudeau. Come down south of the border, we got a Jesuit educated clown in the Oval Office here, the orange one, Trump. And before that, it was a Jesuit educated Joe Biden, and so on and so forth. And it was Obama not long ago brought into politics by a Jesuit priest. And, the Bushes, they weren't Jesuits, but they were Skull and Bones, modeled after the Illuminati, which was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. And then before that, it was Bill Clinton, who was Jesuit educated, and so on and so forth. Anyway, you see how this 8-7 date all comes together? And there's Ignatius of Loyola, who was known for being bald. What's this fire called? Is it called the Bald Range Wildfire? The Bald Range Wildfire. I think I get the joke here. Ignatius of Loyola, very much known for being bald and fiery. Read about him. Fiery guy. And here's the big pattern, you guys. Spokane just burned up while it's 144 years old. On the anniversary of the Great Spokane Fire, which was synced with the establishment of Gonzaga, the Jesuit University in Spokane. Look at this. This crazy fire that just from nothing to huge in no time. 144 days after Mark Carney's birthday. Go forth and set the world on fire, 144, Jesuit Order 144. If you're new here and you're saying, how do you get these values? Very simply, there's 4 base ciphers of the alphabetic order. The most simple is the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, up to Z is 26. Then the alphabetic order with numerology applied to each letter. You do that, that's where go forth and set the world on fire is 144. And then the other 2 ciphers are just running the alphabetic order in reverse and running it in reverse with numerology. The premier of British Columbia is David Eby, or is it Eby, however you say it. His name in reverse, 144. The region that's burned up, just reading the stories, they write it just like this. Okanagan Similkameen region, is that how you say it? 144. So region's burning up with this fire 144 days after Mark Carney's birthday, burning up at record speeds. And, another pattern we've been talking a lot about with these fires burning all over. Several of the fires in Canada are on the 119th Meridian West. This isn't the only one. Fire ritual 119 like Vatican. Years ago when Notre Dame burned up in Paris, France, it was 119 days from the Pope's birthday. Again, that was built by the Templars, military order of the Pope. The modern-day Templars are the Jesuits. And with regards to the Vatican, today's 38 days, yesterday when the fire began, it was 38 days from the Pope's birthday, big fire number. And it was 97 days from the Superior General's birthday, the current Superior General, the 25th Prime. Big pattern with the guy who supposedly set the fire in Spokane. He's got the 97 name gematria. Keep in mind the Vatican's 97 years old. It goes with Leo Messi, 97. His dad dying yesterday, 97 days for the Superior General's birthday. But yeah, the guy who supposedly set the Spokane fire, who killed his dad. Easy perp, guy to throw out there like meat to the wolves. Oh my God, what a horrible person. Total patsy. But yeah, look. 97, the 25th Prime. They said the patsy in Spokane set 25 fires since the start of 2025. In the mid-90s, the U.S. military put out the document Owning the Weather by 2025. And in the mid-90s, that was almost 40 years after JFK gave his speech to the United Nations September 25th, 1961, about the future of weather control, how it was emerging at the time, and we didn't have to worry about drought in the future. And again, the U.S. Navy proved they could make it rain with what they did to Vietnam with Operation Popeye. The Royal Air Force proved it on August 15th, 1952, the Jesuit order's birthday, that they could make it rain with the Lynmouth flood, killing 30-some people in an experiment gone awry. At least that's what they said. So, again, this record drought in the Pacific Northwest, this super wet climate not far from the ocean with all these bodies of water, the reason there's this record drought is because they are owning the weather, and they're making the drought happen, and they're making the wind happen, and they're doing it all highly ritualistically by this code of letters and numbers and dates, which again the Jesuits are responsible for. They implemented the calendar, they standardized the English alphabet at the same time at the end of the 16th century, and again, I've been here for 13 years straight, showing day after day how all of this comes together. So, yeah. Okay. Now, a little bit more on the Spokane fire, which again has burned up while the city's 144 years old. Somehow, in all that I've already presented, I didn't think to look into the head of the Catholic Church in Spokane. And of course, he's Jesuit educated. He went to University of San Francisco, just like the lieutenant governor of Hawaii, who was in charge of the state when Maui burned up because Governor Green was out of town. And he also went to Boston College, another Jesuit school. And, you know, with regards to Boston College, Jesuit order, 14454, Boston College, 14454. But yeah, look at this, you guys. Look at it. There's a lot here. It is really interesting that his birthday is the Church of Satan's birthday. And he was born in San Francisco, where the Church of Satan was born. And if you haven't seen my work on the Church of Satan, it's got the Jesuit fingerprints all over it, including the death of Anton LaVey. But I'm going to leave that part alone. I'm just going to mention it. I don't want that to be the focus here. There are a lot of interesting things about him being installed as the head of the Catholic Church on Cannonball Day to remember Ignatius Loyola getting shot in light of his Jesuit education, being appointed on 3/12 in light of this happening in the time of the Chicago Pope from the 312 after Pope Francis died on the 312th day of Trump's age, and Jorge Mario Bergoglio equals 312. That was Pope Francis. But look at this. From his birthday to the fire was 94 days, right? And Aaron Farinacci equals 94, like Roman Catholic Church. And if you're new here, I talk about a lot of high rituals with the Roman Catholic Church in 94. Go see my work on Messi's father's death if you want another one. And the head, what's in charge of the Spokane Church is the Catholic Church that's in Seattle, the biggest city in Washington. Seattle, Washington, 94. And if you've never seen my work on everything that went down in Seattle in 94, you should check it out. One of the biggest things was Kurt Cobain dying 94 days after Bill Gates got married to Melinda. And then Bill Gates' mom dropping dead right after that. And then eventually his dad would die at 94. And again, for all you Seahawks fans out there, the first time you won the rigged Super Bowl, it was the 94th season. You beat Denver, which equals 94. And then this last Super Bowl you won 12 years later for the 12s, it was in Sam Darnold's 94th game. But if you've missed all my work on all the Seattle connections with the Spokane fire, there's a lot. Seattle's the 206 area code. The fire happened 206 days from the governor's birthday, Mr. Ferguson, who's from Seattle. Because with those rigged Super Bowls, Russell Wilson, 206 passing yards in Super Bowl 48. In Super Bowl 60, the kicker sets the record with 206 points in a season. The sheriff, who's in charge of the Spokane scene, his name in Gematria equals 206. And if you've missed all my work on everything else going on with that sheriff, you should check it out. These people are all the pawns on the chessboard for the ritual, selling out the public. Everything about Cooties 19 was a massive 94 ritual. And don't forget, Bill Gates' father died at age 94 shortly after the pandemic was declared. Coronavirus pandemic equals 94, like it started in Seattle, the land of the big needle. I mean, well, technically, it supposedly started in China. I don't believe that because a lot of us got really sick in Washington State in November before it was even in the news. Sickest we'd ever been in our lives. It was going around. But again, the first case in the world outside of China, according to the official story, was in Seattle, the land of the big needle in King County when Corona means crown. But yeah, anyway. just all these parallels with Seattle and Spokane. And don't forget that 137 years ago, Seattle burned down June 6th, Ellensburg burned down July 4th, and Spokane burned down August 4th. In 3 successive months, the three biggest cities in Washington burned down. And the name of the head of the Catholic Church in Spokane, Thomas Anthony Daly, 215, that was the day that the perp was arrested. The guy who had one Facebook friend and one post, and it was him in a t-shirt that said Italia, like where the Vatican is, like where the Jesuit headquarters is. So Aaron Farinacci, 94, he becomes the news on August 3rd, which can be written 38, like Fire's 38. The fire starter. R.I.P. to the Prodigy singer. Remember what they did to that poor guy? Anyway, Thomas Anthony Daly. Again, 215. On the 215th day of the year, we get the perp. The guy released from prison who supposedly killed his father. A word that invokes the Catholic Church. And again, in the base ciphers, Aaron Farinacci is also 113. The Diocese of Spokane will turn 113 years old this year. It's in its 113th year of existence right now. It'll officially turn 113 years old on Pope Francis's death anniversary. And you know what else? They said the perp is from Dallas. They said he killed his dad in Phoenix, like the Phoenix rises from the ashes. But just for the record, Dallas is 113, and come back to the 41 part again too. But I suppose Dallas is 49, like Washington, the only state with a green flag. I mean, there's a reason they encode all this information. Archdiocese of Seattle is in charge of what's going on in Spokane, which is another 113. That 144 number, the Archdiocese of Seattle, encompasses 144 parishes. Remember, that's a biblical number, the 144,000 chosen. And Diocese of Spokane equals 81, like Spokane in ritual. The fire began on 8/1. Spokane established in 1881. You guys, the land for Gonzaga was purchased in 1881, and they purchased 320 acres for the Gonzaga campus. 320, like Roman Catholic Church. Remember the whole George Floyd psyop, total Jesuit ritual, pulled out of a Mercedes-Benz ML 320, Nazi company, killed in front of Police Cruiser 320, everything else. They had to kill him on 38th Street, corner of 38th, death 38, murder 38, killing 38, RIP 38, Minnesota 38. Anyway. Yeah, just to remind that he went to the same school as who was in charge of Maui when it caught on fire, the Jesuit University in San Francisco, University of San Francisco. And then here's just the clincher, you guys. I mean, how big have I been on this 137 number? Again, it's the 137th anniversary of the Great Spokane Fire. The fire began August 1st, 137 days after the anniversary of Joseph Cataldo's birthday, who founded Gonzaga, the Jesuit school in Spokane. They didn't give us the full name of the perp. They gave us his name August 3rd is Aaron F. Farinacci. They didn't tell us what the middle name was until August 4th, the literal 137th anniversary of the Great Spokane Fire. And then they told us his middle name, the F stood for Forrest, the guy who set the forest fire. Aaron Forrest Farinacci, 137. 137th anniversary, again, 137 days from Cataldo's birthday anniversary did the fire start. The judge who oversaw Aaron Farinacci's case, Gonzaga alumni, he went to the Gonzaga Prep School, the Gonzaga University. He teaches law at Gonzaga. And he was appointed to his seat. He didn't have to win election. The previous judge dropped out, so they had to appoint somebody there without an election. And Jay Inslee appointed the judge, Mr. Gonzaga, on August 16th, one day after the Jesuit order's birthday, the day leaving 137 days left in the year. So now the perp was brought out 137 days from the Spokane Diocese establishment anniversary. Come on. Oh boy. Oh yeah, and just all of this being synced with Pope Leo and the time of Leo. Spokane means sun people. You know, I noticed there's another phrasing. Spokane, I guess, can translate to sun, children of the sun people, or people of the sun. Those are all the things it means. Look at people of the sun, you guys. People of the sun, weather control, the Jesuit order. Do we see what's going on here? People of the sun, 177, 69, 201. Don't forget 84 too, like how the Great Spokane Fire happened on August 4th. And don't forget, like I showed you, from Gonzaga's graduation this year to the day the fire began, when the students go forth and set the world on fire. The fire started 84 days later. So yeah, how about them apples? And yeah, okay. They just had the perp in court under the Jesuit Gonzaga educated judge on 8-6, right? And we were making this point about how Spokane, Washington is 86. And Old Trails Fire, as they're calling it, equals 86. And Old Trails Road, which began on, equals 86. And Jesuits equals 86. A detail I was missing the whole time is the guy that supposedly saw him set the fire, who's the witness on the news. You guys can look it up. His name is Paul Child. Does that even sound like a real name? Paul Child? I mean, give me a break. Paul Child, 86. And I noticed in here, Paul Child, here, let me just see if it'll have the same. Anyone can look up this interview. Let me see if there's a picture of him here. He has his cap on there. I want you to see his cap, because his cap says 1961. And we all know Super Bowl 61's upcoming, and the way they sync news and sports, there's probably something to it. There's something to it. I'm telling you, there's a reason they got this guy with the probably made up name Paul Child wearing a hat that says 1961. So something to think on. What could they be referring to? They dress up these crisis actors. It's like the Riddler, man. It's like the Riddler from Batman. Literally. So there's all the, if you watch the news, so many people are referring to it like a nuclear bomb went off, like a bomb went off. BBC, like a bomb. So many things. YouTube video, like a nuclear bomb. I mean, if you look at it, it looks like the same kind of stuff they showed you in Japan. And remember, Japan was firebombed into the ground. And actually, you know what's crazy, you guys? I looked up when the U.S. started firebombing Japan. They started firebombing Japan on March 9th. That's Aloysius de Gonzaga's birthday anniversary. March 9th. So anyway, they had this guy in court on August 6th, the anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima. Where was the bomb developed for Hiroshima? It was developed at Hanford, not far from Spokane, the Hanford site, the first nuclear site. So, and I was bringing up this point when they did what they did to Lahaina, because Lahaina got wiped out August 8th and August 9th. August 9th is the anniversary of Nagasaki getting bombed. And remember, Japan surrendered on the Jesuit order's birthday, August 15th, and they said the first bomb was dropped at 8:15 a.m., and the only survivors were 8 Jesuit priests, 8 blocks from the blast zone. Jesuits, again, Jesuits 86, they survived it on 8/6. But anyway, it was the 81st anniversary of the bomb. As they say that it looks like the bomb went off. The 81st anniversary of the bomb. Again, read the Jesuit text Art of War. I know it's credited to Sun Tzu, but again, there's no proof of Sun Tzu ever existed. The only reason we know about Art of War is because of the Jesuit priest who translated it and had it published, Father Amiot. Read Art of War and just think about it as you read this. I mean, it's time out, use tactics that your enemy can't even understand. Think about what's going on with weather warfare. I think we do understand it, though, from thinking about it so much. They got serious agendas. and they're using Mother Nature to make people think that we need to submit to Mother Nature because we abused Mother Nature. And I wouldn't disagree. I mean, I do feel like we've abused Mother Nature. I go out to our park. Nobody respects nature, man. Our garbage is everywhere. That's why sometimes, put yourself in other people's shoes. I mean, hey, you govern over humanity. How do we get these people to submit to taking care of the earth? Now, I don't think I'd be at the table be like, how about we use the technology to burn down millions of acres of beautiful, pristine nature? I don't think that would be my solution, but that's the one they've gone with. And, if they were sitting at the tail there, they'd say, listen, we've been governing for hundreds of years. Trust us. We know the best way. And it's using evil. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to give you guys some different ideas here. How about being honest about things? How about being honest and telling people why we need to take drastic measures because they've trashed the earth? Hey, just tell people, go out and look at your local park. Look at the side of your street. Isn't there garbage everywhere? You guys aren't listening. You're not being respectful. But then again, in our slave school, do they really make a point of that? That's where I'd say, how about we do a better job at slave school? How about we stop making it slave school and just start making it about like an actual place to learn real knowledge, learn real values, understand why it's important to know these things, practice these things. Anyway. But yeah, they compare it to the bomb, and I'm thinking, yeah, man, they literally had this guy in court on the 81st anniversary after the city burned up on 8/1. And the city that means sun people. And then, yeah, it blew my mind. I said, look at that. That's crazy. They started firebombing Japan on Aloysius de Gonzaga's birthday anniversary? How this all comes together? Think about it, guys. The Jesuit University, not far from Hanford. I know Aloysius de Gonzaga died from flu, and that's why they had to have Gonzaga in the March Madness Championship for the first one during the time of Cooties 19, the flu. Don't forget that ritual. They killed Elgin Baylor at 86, and then Gonzaga lost to Baylor with 86 points a few days later. If you remember that one, Elgin Baylor went to Seattle U. This is what it looks like. Like the bomb went off. The bomb went off. Okay. Now, again, order out of chaos, right? The perps from Phoenix, like the Phoenix rises from the ashes, the ultimate symbol of order out of chaos. Well, he's really from Dallas, but they said he committed his crime down in the Phoenix area. I read on some sources that he's an Arizona State Sun Devil, but then I couldn't verify that it's absolutely true. But if he is, I mean, doesn't that even make sense? Sun people, Sun Devils. The Pope once spoke at Arizona State, the Sun Devils. I'm aware of that because I went to school there as well. Who could resist going to Arizona State as a kid who grew up in the Pacific Northwest with all the rain? But anyway, again, you guys, I covered this in the end of the messy video, but just one more time, just looking more into things. Spokane pledged to be a smart city by 2030, Agenda 2030 upcoming. And the leader of the project is a Gonzaga alumni, Greg Francis. The Jesuits love that Francis name, Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope. The escape route for vehicles in Spokane was Francis Avenue. But look at this. From August 1st to the first day of 2030 is exactly 41 months. And the time of Pope Leo, again, who's from Chicago, where the Great Chicago Fire began at the address 137, and it's, the Catholics are involved. People blame them and tried to set a Jesuit church on fire in response. It's all part of a deep history. Pope Leo XIV 41? There's been a lot of rituals of Pope Leo XIV in 41. This isn't the first one. But again, the Jesuit suppression lasted 41 years. Spokane County equals 179, the 41st prime. The guy in the courtroom confessed to doing 25 fires since 2025. Like the military document owning the weather by 2025, like fire equals 25. By the way, hold on. Military document, forest fires as a weapon. I know there's something like this that exists as well. Project 8714. CIA. Is this the right thing? I know the documents out there we've talked about in the past. When I write this little book, I'm going to look up this stuff and get it right. I'm not sure this is the same document, But there is something about using forest fires as a weapon by the U.S. military, just like the Owning the Weather by 2025 document. But yeah, anyway, they say that the guy who confessed to being a serial arsonist. I mean, who even uses this terminology? Have you ever heard those words put together before? I'm a serial arsonist. Okay. 179, like they say, he's from Dallas, Texas, 179. Dallas alone, 49. 179 against the 41st prime. Gonzaga's birthday is the 17th of September, so 17/9, which is also the Constitution's birthday. Again, the Pope is 70 years old right now. You can see the way Francis and Vatican overlap. The 47's big because the fire happened 47 days before Gonzaga's birthday on the 47th parallel, and it happened at the intersection of Old Trails Road and Euclid Road, when, again, the Jesuits are into Euclidean mathematics, and the Masons and modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit creation, study the 47th problem of Euclid. And yeah, let me see. Yeah, I think I got all that. They had this guy in court in 86. The guy who found, okay, so the leader of this project to make Spokane a smart city by 2030, the construction or the architecture firm that he works for, the founder of it died in 86, okay, for another 86, and the firm was founded in 47 after the founder graduated from graduate school at University of Washington in Seattle in 1947, not to mention Seattle's on the 47th parallel, just like Spokane. These two Jesuit universities in Washington State, in Seattle and Spokane, Seattle U and Gonzaga, they're both on the 47th parallel, like Vatican's 47. And he even finished his undergrad at UW in 41. 41, grad school 47, started the firm in 47. So, I mean, look how perfect all that is. And part of me, I couldn't find any information, but these people are likely Masons, The Masonic network's big, modern Freemasonry, Jesuit creation. If you've missed all my work on where the Masonic Lodge of Spokane ties in with all this, we covered it in other videos. Sydney Sweeney, the biggest celebrity from Spokane, got famous on HBO, a nation founded by Jesuits. She just got a lot of attention for going there and passing out food to firefighters and people who've been displaced from their home, which is nice. But again, did she do this out of the goodness of her heart, or is this part of what she has to do as a role? Look where she went to school, St. George's School, right? And it says that she was passing out food on August 5th, 8/5. I guess I just wrote it down and didn't take any screenshots. St. George's School, check it out. She went to St. George's School and passed out food on 8/5. St. George's School is also 211, which is the 47th prime number. Remember, Spokane, Washington has the 211. The Masonic Lodge of Spokane was established on the day, leaving 211 days left in the year. Again, the 47th prime, like the Masons are into the 47th prime of Euclid. But yeah, on 8/5. And remember, August 5th was 266 days after the Superior General's birthday. The words in their logo, Isus Hominum Salvator, equal 85 and 266. Like Pope Francis was the first Jesuit pope, the 266th in the history of the church. The fire was 42 days before her birthday. That means she passed out food 38 days before her birthday, too. Okay, so they have her passing out food 38 days before her birthday. She better watch out as a blonde with a Marilyn Monroe-like figure, man. These wicked celebrities. The good news for her is she has almost a decade until she's 38. So, but yeah, that school was founded in 55, the same year Pope Leo was born. Their mascot is the dragon. The dragon. August 1st, 2026 was the date with 55 numerology. Remember how I said the head of the Catholic Church for Spokane? His birthday is the Church of Satan's birthday. He was born in San Francisco where the Church of Satan was. Again, the 55 date numerology is interesting because Satan's 55. You associate fire with Satan. Catholic Church posing as something that it really isn't. And don't forget, the day before all this happened, Bob Ferguson put out a warning that, Danger imminent. He deployed the National Guard. He got them ready. He got the National Guard ready the day before the fire began. And July 31st is the feast date for Ignatius Loyola, Mr. Go Forth and Set the World on Fire. Again, Go Forth and Set the World on Fire, 144. Jesuit Order, 144. Bob Ferguson, Catholic educated. He went to Bishop Blanchett High School. Yeah, that's the feast date for Ignatius Loyola, July 31st. Another day of high ritual. And then just the Society of Cincinnati. George Washington was the first leader of it. Cincinnati Avenue runs through the Gonzaga campus. How weird is it that from, by the way, Cincinnati, Ohio's area code is the 513, right? The Society of Cincinnati was established on May 13th, 513. But from that day to the fire, 81 days as well. George Washington, the first leader, Washington State, named after George Washington. Remember, the fire happened on the 187th week, exactly 187 weeks into the sheriff, who you can just tell is the con man, who's in charge of the whole scene, who's the main spokesperson in the news for all this. Again, that guy who you can just tell is full of it. Exactly 187 weeks into him being the sheriff for Spokane County, 187. And don't forget, that's a big number with the Jesuits, Society of Jesus, 187, and Holy Roman Empire, and the list goes on. Yeah, there it is right there. From Spokane's establishment to the fire, 144 years and 246 days. I guess I didn't do a screenshot, but check it out, you guys. It's called the Society of the Cincinnati. Look at this. Society of the Cincinnati, 246. Catholic Church, 246. Jesuit Order, 144. These things clearly intersect. Georgetown was established right before George Washington was inaugurated as the first president. Georgetown, the first Jesuit university in the U.S. Right next door to where George Washington was inaugurated. And yeah, just real quick, this Thailand thing that's going to get their gun rights taken away. You know, I'm not going to go over all of it. There's a lot here, but this is just again, it happened 37 days from the Prime Minister's birthday. The Jesuits' actual website says there's 37 Jesuit priests operating in Thailand where this happened. Shootings 37. Major 47 ritual on this too. And by the way, he's Catholic educated, the leader of Thailand. And I'm going to just skip down. Well, the name of the school where it happened equals Isus Hominum Salvator. This happened on the anniversary of the Jesuit suppression. But boom, right here. The name of the school, or excuse me, the town where the shooting happened, Bang. I mean, it's right next to Bangkok, so it makes sense. And think about that too, how all the Westerners go there that can't get any to bang some cock. I mean, just think about the sick jokes going on in this world. But Bang Bua Tong. Bang Bua Tong, right? 212. On the 212th anniversary of the Jesuit suppression, this happens. Jesuits have been there since 1600s, the beginning of the 1600s. 269 days from the Superior General's birthday, when the leader of Thailand's name equals 269, who says he's going to take away the guns. You don't think these same operations have been going on all around the world? I mean, I've been demonstrating that it's clearly the Jesuits pulling these things from the UK to Australia to Canada to everywhere else. It's all leading back to them. And eventually, they'll do it here in the U.S., the hardest country there is to do it in, because, you know, the Second Amendment's right up at the top of the list and guns are so overwhelming here. But this younger generation that's just growing up with nonstop media terrorism of mass shootings, you know, they're ready for a change. They're ready to give up their rights and liberties in the name of safety. And that's how they do it. Just nonstop fear, nonstop aggression, nonstop agendas. Yeah. So anyway, it's these people, the network that is across the world. Okay. So yeah, if you got here late and you came for the latest BC fire that just grew so quick it can't even be put into words. Again, Bald Range wildfire breaks out on 8/7. Bald Range wildfire equals 87. The anniversary of the Jesuit suppression. The current premier of BC, British Columbia, born on the anniversary of the Jesuit suppression beginning. Again, August 7th, the anniversary of it ending. 87, when superior general equals 87, like Ignatius of Loyola, the first superior general like the Catholic Church. And again, Ignatius of Loyola, the Jesuits pay tribute to him with the motto, "Go forth and set the world on fire." He's known for being bald range fire. The current Prime Minister of Canada, just like the last one, Carney and Trudeau, both Jesuit educated. Some people think Trudeau's Castro's son. Castro was also Jesuit educated. I don't really know that he is, maybe, but the point is they're all Jesuits. 144 days after Carney's birthday, this crazy fire in BC, one of the most beautiful places in the world. Go forth and set the world on fire, Jesuit order. Spokane on fire while the city's 144 years old. And again, the premier in BC, his name's even 144. Again, Carney went to St. Peter's in the 201 area code, the first assigned area code in the United States, the 201, right? The Jesuit order 201. Ignatius of Loyola 201. Weather control 201, the first admitted act of weather warfare. In the 201, Gonzaga, named after Aloysius de Gonzaga, 201. On and on and on. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Joe Biden from Scranton, Pennsylvania, home of The Office that ran 201 episodes, where you see the Jesuit prep school flag from Scranton in almost every episode. Trump sacrificed his ex-wife and buried her on the 201st day of the year. Remember, he sacrificed her exactly 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Ignatian year, which ran more than a typical calendar year. And on the same day, he said he'd run in the 60th election, which was rigged for him, and then he buried her on the 201st day of the year. And in the election prior to that, we told you it was going to be Biden in 2020 because he sacrificed Beau Biden 201 days before Pope Francis's birthday. By the way, Pope Francis, his birth name, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, 201. He was the first Jesuit pope, the first to live in Suite 201, which was called the Domus Sanctae Martyr 201. But anyway, when Beau Biden died at 46, the Jesuit priest, former head of Georgetown, Leo Jeremiah O'Donovan, did the funeral for Beau Biden at 46. He also did the inauguration for Joe Biden with that huge Bible. Did the funeral for Beau at 46 and the inauguration for Joe as number 46. And remember, Joe was elected exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. But yeah, Leo Jeremiah O'Donovan was the man who did both. And 46 matters because Catholics 46, and so does sacrifice. And, you know, that was the 59th U.S. presidential election, and John F. Kennedy is 59, and he died at 46. And again, Catholics 35 and 46, and JFK was number 35, killed on I-35 at age 46. Dealey Plaza's the off-ramp, on-ramp to I-35. Not to mention, with regards to the 59th election and it being 46 weeks after Pope Francis's birthday, remember Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year for Francis. And Pope Benedict was a Nazi, and the Nazis were modeled after the SS. And if you look it up, his birth certificate says Adolphus Hitler, which is 201. And the Jesuits supposedly tried to kill Hitler on July 20th, 1944, which was the 201st day of the year. And then a year to the day later on the 201st day of the year, that's when paperclip began, and we brought over all the Nazi scientists, including Wernher von Braun, which led to the moon landing 24 years to the day later, and Neil Alden Armstrong's 201, and Nazis is 24, and again, Wernher von Braun was the chief scientist in the mission, who invented the character of the Elon, and of course, little Jesuit puppet Elon Musk, who's a character on the world stage and nothing more, has had a number of 201 rituals, including becoming the world's richest man on the anniversary of Nikola Tesla's death. But anyway, if you're not getting what I'm putting down, take the number 201 and divide by 4, and we're probably in the ballpark where your IQ is. So I hope I'm being clear, and we got Green Kid in the back, and we'll see what he's got to add to it. What's up, Green Kid?
What's going on, man? Just to touch on the school shooting that happened. I believe back in 2012, there was the Sandy Hook shooting. There was a game that Obama had interrupted. I think it was a Patriots game. That kind of struck me as curious, and the simple fact that the game, that the Hall of Fame game, there were 63 points that was scored in that game as well. Um, that was kind of odd to me, that it was a high scoring game. Usually it's not like that. And not to mention that there's a game being played on that day that JFK died in '63, I believe. So a lot of things that are popping out to me with current world events, they might seem random as I'm firing off right now, but it's just that there's so much going on in the world that that's being orchestrated. That, I mean, obviously it's been leading up to I guess a greater catalyst, but I don't know. Just what are your thoughts on those two or three ideas that I just shot off right now?
Well, I mean, we know how they intertwine the news and the sports. I mean, yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, and the fires, and what you were mentioning earlier about if there's anybody that remembers, like, I mean, people do listen, dude. We listen to all this the stuff that you fire off, especially like me. One thing that stuck out to me that no, I don't think anybody could deny was the fact of the Rock's birthday, and there being several. No, I think it was just one earthquake in California at Bakersfield, and just just the simple fact that people can't see through this type of thing. I don't know what it is that you're going to write about your book. I haven't really been up on your channel, so I really don't know what all you're going to include in there. But just the simple fact as well with the hurricanes that occurred, the cartoon with Milton the Monster. Dude, there's just like so many examples that you have outlined in the past that I still don't know why people can deny this type of construction, I guess, that these people that are making with these world events to I don't know if it's to instill fear or it's for control, whatever it may be. The sad fact is, and I don't know if you not might not like that I'm saying this, but it's just like it seems like there's no way out of this shit because too many people are rather blind to the fact or just asleep at the goddamn wheel to do anything about this shit. And I understand that maybe people are scared to go to jail, um, because they don't want to face the ramifications of, oh, we're gonna go up in arms because we're all mad. I even think about that a lot. Like I know, I mean, I might have what I have as far as guns, protection, as far as like vests and whatnot, but I still don't have the balls to actually say, let's get this shit cracking because I know nobody's gonna help to 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 back me up. Because it's not only sickening, but I'm honestly fed up with the world system, how shit is just run. But I guess until we all get the balls to actually do something about it, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem. Until people find the courage to speak up and do what's right, nothing's going to change. I've been trying to inspire people to speak up and do what's right for 13 straight years now, and there's a few more people, but you
You
see, I mean,
definitely
just
do.
most people don't have any courage, man, and they're even too scared to call into a live stream. And again, I mean, people need to get their priorities right. You're so afraid of your fellow man. What, you don't think the government's keeping every last tab on everything you're doing right now? I mean, come on, you guys. They know what your avatar is. They know who's behind that screen, whether you're showing your face or not. They know exactly what you're doing on the internet. They've been collecting all of our data since even before 9/11. Remember that was supposedly the new laws after 9/11, the Patriot Act, that they could collect every last piece of data. But then it started to be disclosed after that they'd already been doing it. So it's like, wow. So they'd already been doing this, but now that we understand these are the laws on the books, everyone's kind of shrugging their shoulders and going, well, whatever. What am I going to do about it? So again, you guys, they've been building databases on us. They've been building the surveillance state. It's all about control, and they're gaining more and more control over all of our lives. And again, if humanity doesn't rise up, I mean, they're going to have total control. Look where the vehicles are now. All this technology, paying attention to you at all times. Uh, Just imagine, give it another decade, how bad's it going to be? Cameras ever? Like I said, you guys, I got police surveillance cameras pointing in my front and back window. I mean, if I don't have my windows shut, they can watch me pretty much from both angles of my house. So, not to mention, we have all these listening devices in our house that and all these companies are partnered with the government. It's just, again, it should be way beyond enough is enough. And again, the majority of the world doesn't know the who, what, when, why, or where. We're putting it all down here every day. People need to get privy to what we're talking about, and then humanity needs to wake up, and then we need to act together against it. Putting the Jesuits in suppression, I'm telling you, it's not going to end there, but that'd be a great starting point. This is the most evil force in the world behind all the major agendas that is creating much of the pain and suffering in the world, and the drastically, again, the reason things are so much more expensive. All of these wars, all of these money printed for these wars, the Cooties 19 lockdowns, the printing of money, Trump, all of his just idiotic policies, from tariffs to chasing out all the labor from the country and making it seem like they're all a bunch of evil boogeymen, when all these supposed stories, Lake in Park Riley or whatever, I can't even think of the name right now, but all these Venezuelans doing all this supposed stuff, all synced with the superior generals in Venezuela. Again, if everyone just saw through the propaganda and saw what the real agenda was, then they would know who to rise up and stop. And that's what we're trying to educate about over here. Lake and Hope Riley, that was her name.
Yeah. Yeah, religion is a big player into why we're so subservient, a lot of us at least, and so dumb. Um, I've been in that scene, and I got sucked into it. But after a while, I mean, you see right through the bullshit where everybody's just the hypocrisy within it, and yeah, I feel like it's just holding us back, religion. Um, but it is what it is, I guess. Can't do nothing about it until people want to actually be out of that mindset, that childish mindset. At least that's what my thoughts are, because since our childhood, we're told about Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy. So what makes you think that Jesus is fucking real? Or I mean, he might have been a real individual, but not to the extent that the Bible says it is, because it's a book that's been constantly reshaped, rechanged, retooled to fit other people's agendas. Also, I wanted to say there's a news story that I guess one of the Hall of Famers, 33, he has vascular dementia, um, which equals 267 in the calculator, I believe. No, 264. And 264 from the day it was announced. If you're not counting today, it's April 30th, 2027. I don't know if that has any significance um, with what you're tying in with what was that guy's name? That Daily guy? Yeah.
Thomas Daly, the head of the Catholic Church in Spokane.
Uh huh. Yeah. 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 But that's all I had. I really hope that one day we do all break free from this system, because it's exhausting. It's exhausting to constantly get up and grind for somebody else on a system that somebody else invented, just to get nowhere. Honestly, we're getting nowhere. All right, man. Take it
Well,
easy. Keep up the good
yeah.
work.
Uh, just things are getting worse for almost every person who's alive because of people's unwillingness to stand up to tyranny or even attempt to see it or understand it. So yeah, something drastically needs to be done. I mean, sitting out here breathing smoke for weeks again, it's no fun, and a lot of the countries experienced it this summer. Their agendas are going to get progressively worse until they get their way. You notice with each passing year, just things get more sinister.
Ain't that the truth? All right, man. Take it easy.
All right, appreciate it, Green Kid. Shout out to John Mendoza. Always appreciated John Mendoza. Always good to see generous John in the chat. Run Life with Ty says, "What's up, Zach? You believe you did a documentary on the history of the Jesuits that would show a clearer picture for new audiences?" Well, I mean, do I need to do that? There's a lot of documentaries and books out there on the sinister history of the Jesuits. I don't know if that needs to be done. What I specialize in is the thing that nobody ever caught on to, the way they work by letters and numbers and dates, which is the nail in the coffin for these people. And yeah, I mean, we could do a different documentary and add on to it. I don't know how to make films though. I'm not a filmmaker. I don't have any skills in video editing, and it is quite a time-consuming task. I mean, I'd like to do it, but it's just not where my expertise is. So, if anybody else wants to hop in here, you're more than welcome to. It's going to get pretty boring from this point, but I'm going to try and write the little mini book or whatever I'm going to hand out at Gonzaga. So. If anybody wants to make a film out of this, this could be the script. Truth matters.
Yeah, I was just curious, what happened to your hat that used to say "Truth Matters"?
I still got it.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool. One thing I wanted to share with you, something I found watching one of your old streams. It says the earliest known completed printing of the Gutenberg Bible. The earliest known printed date on it is August
22nd?
No. The one with the earliest printed known date to the completed version is August 15th, 1456.
Really?
That's what it says.
I often see March 22nd, but yeah, August 15th is the Jesuit Order's birthday.
Yeah, wouldn't the date you're saying, wouldn't that be like a speculated date? And
March
then
22nd?
Yeah, isn't that the speculated?
It is, but that's the one you commonly see.
Yeah, I think it's funny that one's speculated, and given how specific that number is.
Right here, yeah, you're right, man. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't see that documented on either of your websites, so I figured you'd get a kick out of that.
That's a good one. Yeah, there it is again, you guys. Jesuit Order's birthday. Now, you know what's interesting, though? That predates the Jesuits. That's before the Jesuits. The Jesuits are 1534, so... That's funny enough. That's 78 years before the Jesuits. That's one of their numbers.
Maybe that's why they chose that date to meet on.
I mean, the Catholic Church was in action before the Jesuits. The Jesuits play on things that came before it, the Franciscans and all that. So,
good point.
Yeah, that is interesting that it's August 15th.
Yeah, absolutely. One other thing I wanted to ask you. I heard you talking about you watched the movie Ready or Not 2 the other night.
Yeah.
Did you catch that the character that plays like the lawyer, the one with all the rules in the books, is Elijah Wood from Lord of the Rings? He's the one that hands out the ring at the end of the movie, and it's the ring that gives power to the world. And he's in Lord of the Rings, where they chase.
Right? He's the little
What's
Hobbit.
that? Yeah, the Hobbit. He's the one that chases the ring of power in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he does hand out that ring at the end. Yeah, wow.
Yep, the ring of power, essentially.
And don't forget those Jesuits. They got those rings with the IXXI for 9/11.
Yep. Did you get a kick out of that movie when the girl shoots the rocket launcher backwards?
Well, it's kind of short. I kind of think it's true, man. Just the people that are ruling over us, they're just riding on the coattails of legacy, and they're kind of like all a bunch of incompetent losers.
I just thought that part was really funny. It made me burst out laughing in the theater.
Yeah, it's something else, man.
Appreciate your time, man.
All right, thank you.
Yep, you have a good day.
Is this a boring introduction? Again, we'll spice it up, but we're just getting started. On May 9th, 2026, the graduating class of Gonzaga University, full of enthusiasm, because they say it all amped up, put their hand to the sky doing the Roman salute, exclaiming the common Jesuit motto, "Go forth and set the world on fire." 84 days later, August 1st, 2026, the city of Spokane, where Gonzaga is located, would be set ablaze. This was just 3 days before the 137th anniversary of the Great Spokane Fire of August 4th, 1889, a fire that followed Ellensburg burning to the ground on July 4th, 1889, which was a fire that followed Seattle burning to the ground on June 6th, 1889. As for those three fires occurring 137 years earlier, there is an important point that needs to be made about the number 137. And yes, this text will be number intensive. See, that's why it's the perfect. It's the perfect way to operate because they've created this society of people that just hate numbers. August 1st, 2026 was 137 days after March 17th, the anniversary of Joseph Cataldo's birthday, the founder of Gonzaga University. On August 4th, the 137th anniversary of the Great Spokane Fire, the media released the full name of the supposed arsonist, a man who had been arrested the night prior, but with only his middle initial, F, revealed. On August 4th, his full name was reported across the mainstream media as Aaron Forrest Farinacci. In the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words, known as Gematria, the name Aaron Forrest Farinacci equates to 137. And I feel like I need some bold underline here with Forrest, just for the person who reads half asleep. Because don't a lot of people read that way? It's like they're reading, but they're not really paying attention. So we'll underline and bold it 2 times. And some people are so slow, it still might... Why'd he bold and underline Forrest? I don't get it. I always liked Forrest Gump. Do we have anybody else that wants to come in and share about the history of weather warfare and all that's been revealed here over the last decade plus, since my book is a decade old, that has the huge chapter on weather warfare, revealing that the first act of admitted weather warfare was on the Jesuit order's birthday. On August 6, 2026, Aaron Forrest. Should I bold and underline it for a 3rd time? I think I will. 3 fires, level 3, 3 fires, 137 years old. On August 6, 2026, Aaron Forrest Farinacci appeared in the courtroom of, what's his name? Joseph, Joseph, something with a W, courtroom, judge, or was it Jeremy? Jeremy, what was his name? Jeremy Schmidt. Yeah. Judge Jeremy Schmidt. A man who attended Gonzaga Prep, Gonzaga University, and who even teaches law at Gonzaga University. Better yet, he was appointed to his seat as the district judge in Spokane by Governor Jay Inslee on August 16, 2023, one day after the Jesuit order's establishment anniversary, August 15th, 1534. Or maybe we'll write this, August 16th. The day leaving 137 days in the year, which is one day after the Jesuit. When you're writing, you got to think about the clearest way to write things. Okay. Did you guys know that Grammarly's owned by a bunch of Ukrainians? I remember when the Ukraine war... Don't forget the major Jesuit ritual with the Ukraine war. Biden and Putin met 201 days into the first ever Jesuit Ignatian year. Then the war popped off in the Donbass region, 201. Then years later, Putin went down there with Tucker Carlson, who went to Trinity College, and talked about how the whole history goes back to the split with the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church, and that's really what the war's over? Well, everything goes back to the church. Oh, yeah, I forgot one. On August 3rd, the supposed arsonist was reportedly arrested, which was a span of 137 days to December 17, 2026, the upcoming anniversary of the establishment of the Diocese of Spokane. Whoops. Diocese of Spokane. Okay. A bad habit I have when I'm writing is I like to reread what I've written a million times, which makes my writing projects take way longer. So if I drive you insane, feel free to leave. But also, if you get an idea and you want to hop in, feel free to do that as well. I'm taking it from the top one more time. I got to hear how it sounds so far. On May 9, 2026, the graduating class of Gonzaga University, full of enthusiasm, put their hand to the sky doing the Roman salute, exclaiming the common Jesuit motto, "Go forth and set the world on fire." 84 days later, August 1st, 2026, the city of Spokane, where Gonzaga is located, would be set ablaze. This was just 3 days before the 137th anniversary of the Great Spokane Fire of August 4th, 1889, a fire that followed Ellensburg burning to the ground on July 4th, 1889, which was a fire that, I'm going to rewrite that, there's something I don't like about that, which was a fire that followed Seattle burning to the ground on June 6th, 1889. I got to improve the flow of that right there. As for those three fires occurring 137 years earlier, there is an important point that needs to be made about the number 137, and yes, this text will be number intensive. August 1st, 2026 was 137 days after March 17th, the anniversary of Joseph Cataldo's birthday, the founder of Gonzaga University. On August 3rd, the supposed arsonist was reportedly arrested, which was a span of 137 days to December 17th, 2026, the upcoming anniversary of the establishment of the Diocese of Spokane. I'll say, in case you are not familiar, the Jesuits are an order of the Roman Catholic Church. On August 4th, the 137th anniversary of the Great Spokane Fire, the media released the full name of the supposed arsonist, a man who had been arrested the night prior, but with only his middle initial, F, revealed. On August 4th, his full name was reported across the mainstream media as Aaron Forrest Farinacci. In the Kabbalistic practice of coding numbers into words known as Gematria, the name Aaron Forrest Farinacci equates to 137. On August 6, 2026, Aaron Forrest Farinacci appeared in the courtroom of Jeremy Schmidt, a man who attended Gonzaga Prep, Gonzaga University, and who even teaches law at Gonzaga University. Better yet, he was appointed to his seat as the district judge in Spokane by Governor Jay Inslee on August 16, 2023, the day leaving 137 days in the year, which is one day after the Jesuit Order's establishment anniversary, August 15, 1534. Furthermore, he was appointed 2 days before the Gray Fire in Spokane, Washington, which burned nearly 300 structures to the ground. All right, we're coming out of the gate swinging with the 137 because I think that's a good point to start. Would the next place that would make the most sense to go to be to hit the 144 with how old the city is? What do you guys think in the chat? Do we go to 144 next? Do we go to 144 for Go Forth and Set the World on Fire, Jesuit Order, how old Spokane is? Maybe throw in a few extra sentences about how days later what they just did in BC on the anniversary of the Jesuit suppression, 144 days after Jesuit educated Mark Carney, or what do you think? What's the right move here for those of you guys who've been following the work? Let's get some chat. Let's get some chat interaction so you guys can feel like you helped out with this, which no doubt you would have. Somebody says they found me at 16. I don't know how old you are now, but hey, it's better to find. I wish I would have known this when I was 16 years old. I would have been able to school Mr. Griffin. I wish I would have known this when I was 16. I'm tempted to put on, maybe this is boring watching me write this. Maybe I'll write it in the background while we watch TikTok videos of people who are mad about conspiracy theories about the. Something that drives me nuts, you guys, is people going, I hate online conspiracy theories. People are grieving right now. We don't need conspiracy theories. Don't you hear this every time something happens? Like, okay, but what if a lot of people's conspiracy theories are a bunch of crap. It doesn't make sense to burn down the neighborhood to build a data center because there's all kinds of open land around Spokane. So you don't need to burn down. It's not like there's nowhere to put a data center, right? I mean, Spokane's got a lot of open land. Now, because these people are psychopaths and they do observe things like, the phoenix rising from the ashes, it's where you can start to make an argument that maybe that's the reason they would do it. But again, the real agenda is all of this destruction, you guys, is boosting the cost of living, right? Think about everything that happens because of this. First of all, the government has to spend a ton of money, which we get the bill. So more taxation, more printing of money, more inflation. Insurance companies say, man, it's so dangerous to insure you guys, we got to charge you even more. I mean, almost all of us are paying double in insurance from what we were paying just 6 years ago. Almost everyone's insurance rates are nearly double. For some people, it might be worse depending on the area you're in. Commercial property insurance has gone up more than double. Commercial property insurance is insane, and I feel like that's got to be something about the Amazons of the world that want to price people out of being able to have a box in, a brick and mortar store. Just it's so expensive to have a commercial property. But, again, there's obvious reasons they're doing this that we should all be able to see based on what's changed in the world in the last, again, 2020 and on, just the weather's been absolutely insane. And really even before that, I mean, Paradise was 2018. Remember, you guys, Paradise, California, 118. Los Angeles, California, 118. Both cities, horrible fires on 118, November 8th, matching the gematria. All right. I think I'm gonna write. Maybe listening to these people. I think I'm gonna have to get on TikTok and see if I can get these people in the Spokane area who are so mad about the conspiracy theories. I'm gonna see if I can get them to come out when I'm out at Spokane and hand them this thing that I'm taking the time to write, and say, listen, maybe you actually need to wake up to some conspiracy theories because mine's pretty good. I think it's not a theory. I think it's actually conspiracy fact. I think it's conspiracy fact. I didn't see a whole lot of feedback on if we should go to 144 next, but right now it feels like the right place to go. And as I write this thing, maybe I'll be like, well, wait a minute. Maybe I need to switch the order around here. But 144 seems like a good place to go. Bear with me, you guys. The sound's going to go out for a minute. I am going to give you guys
It's really sickening when I see people on here spewing baseless
Can you
conspiracy
guys hear this?
theories
Can you
about
hear
the
his video and
wildfires
me?
in Spokane, the Spokane Complex fire, the Old Trails fire, the Fairview fire. And most of these people aren't from Spokane. Most of them have never been to Spokane. Most of them don't know about Spokane. They don't understand that these trees here are living, breathing things that have a lot of humidity and water in them, and they don't burn as easily as wooden houses.
In case this guy sees my video, I definitely want you to come out to Spokane on September 5th. Again, I mean, it's a really embarrassing look to be in NFL gear, the National Fixed League. Again, just like how your fire synced with the Pope, so was your rigged Super Bowl. Just like how the last 3 times we had a new Pope, the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl. Again, learn your gematria, guys. We were all over it before the playoffs began. We rode Seattle and Patriots all the way to the Super Bowl. Haters can hate all they want, but that's exactly what we did. Seattle became 19-19 in the postseason, exactly 19 weeks after the Pope's birthday, as the only 19 city in America. Of course, they were up 19-0 in the Super Bowl. They won by 16, just like how in the college championship, Indiana, the 19th state, went 16-0. Those are the Joe Montana jerseys, 19-16. Joe Montana played in the AFC West and the NFC West, like Seattle's been in both divisions because they moved conferences. And where's Indiana? Isn't that the same place Notre Dame is? Where Joe Montana played? Joe Montana, whose whole career was a perfect script, gold 16, won Super Bowl 16 in his 16 jersey on literally the 49ers on the 134th anniversary of the Gold Rush beginning. Not to mention all the ritual sacrifices, the blood sacrifices that go on every year at these Super Bowls. This guy's on here talking about shut up conspiracy theorists as he wears the gear of a team that are connected to a pile of bodies for a rigged game, which, by the way, don't forget the flooding of Seattle. 6 rivers flooded around Seattle right before Phillip Rivers came out of retirement and played Seattle 6 days after his birthday. Flood 52 like 6. 52 days from the flooding was the rigged Super Bowl. They did the same thing when Houston flooded, and not to mention the Seahawks became 5-2 versus Houston this past season. I think there was something to that because the GM, after they won the Super Bowl, came out and explained how everybody and their mom died connected to the team, including his father, the day after they beat Houston to become 5-2. And go back and look at the box score for the Seahawks and Houston game, because you'll see what happened with the 2-5 in Houston's record as well as the 5-2 in Seattle's record. But yeah, these kind of people, shut up with the conspiracy theories. No, we need more, but we need the right ones. We don't need people talking about that they burned down Spokane for a data center, because that's not what it is. Now, in a few years, if they built one there, I mean, it would be total mockery. I wouldn't put it past them, but I don't think that is the agenda. I think the agenda is, just like I said, Agenda 2030, pricing people out of existence, the justification for the new laws, taking away your rights and liberties, more reasons for there to be more government expenditures. Again, everything I already said. These are what's really going on. It's order out of chaos. It's ordo ab chow. But let's continue here with Mr. But he is, to be fair though, he, like everyone who is just so focused on data centers and how come the trees are still standing. I mean, it is true that it's harder for these big trees to burn because they're full of water, whereas a house is just a whole bunch of dry material ready to ignite. So yeah, he is mad about, the stuff that just doesn't make a lot of sense. But at the same time, people need to understand, I mean, there is a very serious agenda going on, and there is a real conspiracy to it. So let's continue. I'll see if I can, I'll just keep going from video to video.
Look, I hate AI data centers as much as anyone.
Oh, snap.
But right now, there are so many people hurting. Hold
on, I need to figure out something because TikTok's annoying that. All right, hold on. I need to remaneuver here so I can write. I'm gonna close this and do that. Hold on here. Little remaneuver here. Okay, I think we're in business. Yeah, John Mendoza, I appreciate the latest super chat too. Yeah, bring us on, man. Bring on the conspiracy theorists to make fun of them. Bill Maher, all these people. They should bring me on. We'll see who's tripping. Go to toe with anybody on these subjects. And I hope this guy right here comes out. And I hope you stop wearing that Seattle garb. God, it's almost September, man. Pretty much the whole state just breaks out their Russell Wilson jerseys. They're still rocking them. 206 yards in the Super Bowl for the 206.
Badly, so badly. Lost their homes, lost their pets, lost everything. And they have nowhere to go. Or they're evacuated and they're hoping their home didn't get burned down. And you're on the internet monetizing it. The conspiracy theories, it's pathetic. And look, if you're gonna make these bullshit videos and you don't have the decency to talk about where people can...
I gotta chime in though. Does he feel this way about the news media that makes a killing on every negative story that they just put out every night that really nobody needs to know about? It's just nonstop negativity, selling pharmaceutical ads, poison to the world, fast food, another vehicle people don't need, et cetera, et cetera. Does he have these feelings about the mainstream media? Because this is what they do every night, right? They capitalize and make money on tragedy. Does he feel this way about the Red Cross that gets its stuff out there everywhere and gets what? You give them $100, $5 makes it to the victim. They keep the other 95% for their bureaucracy. Does he feel this way about these things?
There's a popular
Oh, what the hell? Hey, let's take it from the top.
It's really sickening when I see people on here spewing baseless conspiracy theories about the wildfires in Spokane, the Spokane Complex fire, the Old Trails fire, the Fairview fire. And most of these people aren't from Spokane. Most of them have never been to Spokane. Most of them don't know about Spokane. They don't understand that these trees here are living, breathing things that have a lot of humidity and water in them, and they don't burn as easily as wooden houses. Look, I hate AI data centers as much as anyone, but right now there are so many people hurting so badly, lost their homes, lost their pets, lost everything, and they have nowhere to go, or they're evacuated and they're hoping their home didn't get burned down. And you're on the internet monetizing it. The conspiracy theories, it's pathetic. And look, if you're gonna make these bullshit videos and you don't have the decency to talk about where people can donate to help the people suffering, then you're clearly profiteering on people's misery. And it's really pathetic. And I honestly think you're wrong. And you're showing your true colors.
Just for the record, if anybody really does need anything, when I'm out in Spokane, come talk to me. I'm a pretty generous guy. And you'll get this beautiful text full of knowledge and information that the world needs so we can stop this from happening. Because I've been here for a long time saying if the world doesn't wake up, I mean, I was saying this with Lahaina. I said it could be your community next. I mean, if people had listened, we might have stopped this. This guy might not be crying on the internet, looking like a goofy in a Seahawks hat. Do you know how many bodies were buried for that rigged Super Bowl, buddy? Do you have a clue? You don't have a clue, buddy. You're wearing a symbol of, and by the way, with the whole Indiana winning the championship in Miami, don't forget the first Seahawks franchise in pro football history was the Miami Seahawks, and they moved up to Baltimore and they became the Colts, and Phillip Rivers came out of retirement to play for the Colts versus Seattle. And again, it's all one big sick ritual, you guys, but let's listen to this crybaby continue.
You see a tragedy, you try to fit it around your worldview, your conspiratorial nature.
Just understand, the worldview coming out of my mouth right now is the correct worldview. And we know how, you know how we know that that's the correct worldview? Because we're proving it day in and day out, and making calls on it before it happens because we understand the way these people work. Most people's worldview is based on what they heard on TV. They got him. They got Aaron Farinacci, even killed his dad. Why was he out of prison? Again, like I said, I'll go toe-to-toe with anyone debating these subjects. I got more facts and receipts than anybody walking this earth right now because I've been at it every single day for doing this for 13 years straight, but I've been at it every single day since 9/11 happened when I was 18 years old trying to get to the bottom of what's going on in this world. All right, let's continue with this guy, Mr. Clueless.
You see this tragedy, you try to fit it in with no understanding of how things work and with no understanding of how the wildfires work in this area, no idea that
Oh, snap.
One of the fires was an arsonist, one of the fires was an accidental person, and the cause of the other fire is unknown at this time. In the Spokane Big Three fires, Old Trails, Fairfax.
Just regurgitating what he saw on the news. Okay. Yeah, all 3 fires started at the same time. Yeah, okay.
And it's just sickening. Now, if you do want to donate and help people, if you stayed here this long, the best way, I think, financially to donate to people is the Spokane City fund that they created. I'll post a...
That might be the best way. It certainly isn't the Red Cross. By the way, just about the rigged NFL and you know the flood earlier in the year, this fire is probably for the rigged Super Bowl too. I mean, they don't stop with the they don't stop. Aaron Forrest Farinacci 106. Seattle just won the 106th NFL season. Seattle, Washington, WA 106. Washington State 60 for Super Bowl 60. You know what I mean? Seattle, WA 56. Super Bowl 60 was the 56th of the modern era. Seattle WA, there's that 137 like we talked about. There's that 25 like fire, like Farinacci confessed to 25 fires set since 2025, and his only social media post is him wearing a shirt that says Italia. People should be generous. I mean, I agree with that. I like this part of it, but again, you know, it's not going to stop these people from burning everyone's city to the ground. Look up that Slipknot song they performed for the Pope. Gematria is a killing name and will burn your cities down. It's not an accident. They didn't write that song.
The information in the comments. It's really sickening when I...
Okay. So that was his video. Let's hear what this sassy looking lady has to say.
Hey y'all. If you are a content creator who's big enough to get paid for your content, and you are currently getting paid for content about either the Spokane complex fires or any other natural disaster, can you do me a favor? Can you do your best? I know it is hard, but do your best to keep track of the comment section to ensure that dangerous conspiracy theories are not being spread about the event or the people who are being traumatized and devastated by the event. It's really getting out of control what kind of ridiculous and now straight up hateful, anti-Semitic, just bigoted, ridiculous theories are going around. It's not helping anybody. In fact, it's actually hurting people. If you guys could try and keep a handle on that, it would really help with getting good information out there so that we don't have to focus on debunking all the bullshit. All right. Thanks. You guys stay safe out there. Also, really quick before I forget, if you are getting paid for content about a natural disaster and you are spreading bullshit, conspiracy theories, or misinformation, fuck you. Very much. Okay, that's it. Hey, y'all. If you are a content creator who's...
Does she feel this way about the mainstream media that spreads BS every day and false information and like the Aaron Farinacci starting the fire? I mean, is everyone a bunch of suckers? Looks like this lady's been at work. Let's check out a little bit more.
Okay, so I just did a longer video about this if you want to check it out, but I know most of you have the attention span of a gnat, so we're going to do this very quick first. No, all of Eastern Washington is not the desert. I live in Eastern Washington. I do not, however, live in the desert. Please.
Most of Eastern Washington's high desert, but Spokane is right next to the Idaho border, and if you're not familiar with Idaho, it's one of the most beautiful mountainous places in the world, so Spokane starts to transition back into big evergreen trees. Again, Western Washington, big evergreen trees. You get east of the mountains, high desert for a long period. As you get to the border where Spokane is, again, it starts to look a lot like what it looks like in Idaho. Which, by the way, is a very red state where Jay Inslee, who's supposedly super blue, the former governor of Washington, moved to as soon as his term ended. It's like, look at that. Mr. I'm all blue. I'm moving to that red state as soon as I'm done here. It's just, again, a reminder that there is no red and blue.
Okay, so I just did a longer video about this if you want to check it out, but I know most of you have the attention span of a gnat, so we're going to do this very quick first. No, all of Eastern Washington is not the desert. I live in Eastern Washington. I do not, however, live in the desert. Please stop fucking arguing with me about that now. Don't argue with people about their lived experience. That's freaking weird. B, not everyone that lives in Eastern Washington voted for Trump. Not everyone that lives anywhere voted the same. That's fucking weird. But Spokane specifically is a very purple city that is trending blue every single year. There are a ton of Democrats out here. There are also a ton of people like us that are socialists or communists who move out here to have more space to build community and co-ops and things like that. Okay. Also, really quick, even if they did vote for Trump, like, find some basic fucking humanity. You claim that you're intellectually and morally superior. At least pretend that to be true for a second, okay? And lastly, for now, no, the place that burned in Spokane was not where the data center was supposed to be. None of these things are helping any actual people. Okay? Okay, so I just did a longer video about this if you want to check it out, but I know most of you have the attention span of a gnat, so we're going to do this very quick first. No, all of Eastern...
Okay, so yeah, she's not that interesting. This looks like a data center guy right here. Let's see what he had to say.
There's a popular conspiracy theory right now that the Spokane wildfires were started by a company to make space for their AI data centers. And the whole reason this theory started was because there was a company that wanted to put AI data centers in Spokane, but the city of Spokane said, no, you gotta like wait a year and then repropose this. And they basically just said, not right now. And they also think that this guy who is said to have started the fires works for some like weird company, which doesn't have a lot of employees and doesn't like, nobody knows what they do. And they think that that company is like part of the AI data center company. Now, I personally don't think this is true, but one thing is you never know. But especially after this wildfire, I think the last thing Spokane needs is a data center, because that would just take the water that they really do need. And I just think it would be really ironic and messed up if they put a data center in Spokane. But what do you guys think? There's a popular conspiracy theory right now that the Spokane wildfires were started by a company to...
And again, this is the thing that's viral on the internet, right? This is all everybody's saying. Why aren't the trees burnt? And I heard they did it for a data center. And again, all these fake frauds in the truth community are the ones that go out and put this right. For example, Dabu7, total fraud. Again, somebody tried to instigate, if you guys remember Professor Doom, he tried to instigate a thing between us two and get my channel taken down. Dabu7, who's just hung around for all these years. All he does is put out misinformation. First thing he puts out, by the way, I got an inside source that said, they're building a data center where they burn down the houses. And it's like, okay, these people rely on no one looking into anything and just use buzzwords like data centers as a viral topic. And definitely a problematic thing, but just it's a buzzword, right? So just throw it out there and, people quickly share, man, Dabu7, man, he's a veteran. You heard inside source, data center. And anyone can look it up. It's like, well, in June, Spokane just voted down the data center, so there's not going to be one there for the time being. Doesn't mean there won't be one there in the future, but it's just total fake information, and fake information's viral. And this is why the conspiracy theory community is so hated by the normies, because it's mostly just misinformation and stupid stuff and a bunch of nonsense and no real research and just, again, disseminating false information, really no different than the mainstream. And it's maddening to see the Dabu7s of the world get, more clout with this fake, it's because people are dumb. But anyway, we got the Guy Fawkes mask up here. If you don't know, the Guy Fawkes mask comes from the attempted assassination of King James, known as the Jesuit treason. Remember the 5th of November. Let's see what we got up here. It's got a lot of likes.
There's a new conspiracy about the Spokane fires. So this video is actually posted by the hacktivist collective Anonymous. And this is what they said, and I'm interested to see what you guys think.
Look at the fires in Washington state and then ask yourself, how would the system completely override the people, strip away private land tenure, and then build a digital cage, without starting an open war with the citizens? You wouldn't force it on them all at once, but you would let a disaster clear the board for you instead. Now with that in mind, look back again at what just went down at the Old Trails fire, as thousands of acres are scorched, over 60,000 civilians are displaced, and hundreds of homes are leveled. And then right on cue, the authorities hand us a wrapped-up narrative. An arson suspect, named Aaron Farinacci, a man with a heavy criminal past, is arrested on the spot with a lighter and matches. So it's just case closed, right? A lone bad actor, a convenient fall guy, but whether the suspect was a groomed pawn or an unwitting spark, just ask yourself who actually benefits from the ashes.
I feel like I don't want to believe any of that. And I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to say. Like, what grid are they trying to make room for?
Yeah.
Data center. There's a new conspiracy about the Spokane fires. So this.
Okay, but they did get the rising from the ashes thing in there, but again, alluding to the data centers. Sassy lady again. Damn. I forget. Man, Sassy Lady's all over. She's really mad about these conspiracy theories. There was a video up here that I saw last night that I'm not seeing right now that I really wanted to play. This girl's interesting right here. I watched this. She's not against the conspiracy theories. I think she's got the right general idea. I'll play this one too. We'll go back and forth. While I'm writing here in the background, we'll just keep playing other people's
Let's
thoughts.
talk about the conspiracy theories surrounding the Spokane fires. I have a TikTok that's around 7,000 views with a lot of people in the comment section. If you haven't seen that, I do live in Spokane, right in the smack dab middle of the 2 evacuation zones. And what people are talking about is direct energy weapons. And even though I am a deep level conspiracy theorist, I do not think that's what's going on. So if you have no investment in this conversation whatsoever, or do not know what's going on, a direct energy weapon is basically the conspiracy theory behind the lasers, like starting the Lahaina fires. So people believe that the government has created a direct energy weapon that you can basically just send a laser from very far away and it'll start a fire. And in conjunction with this conspiracy theory is that there is a certain form of blue paint that the laser cannot affect. Now, I believe the laser does exist. Yes, I do. And it's not because I'm positive they have it. It's because we have been funneling trillions of dollars into the Pentagon and nobody has any explanation for where that money went. And these white men are all obsessed with war. So why would they not invent a laser that starts fire? Of course they haven't. I just do not personally believe that that is what's going on in Spokane, Washington. I think that if you are looking for a conspiracy theory element to this situation, I would ask where the arsonist came from. Does he have ties to Israel? And also, we should look into his criminal history and exactly what deal was made to get him out of prison. Because what the CIA loves to do is to make deals with criminals. That's their most favorite thing. If you ever run a background check on a man, and you absolutely should always be running a criminal and background check on a man, if he has any type of crimes that like don't have explanation. For example, I did a criminal background check on this one guy I was hanging out with, and he had assault of an officer that was dropped. Fed alert. Fed alert, especially assault of an officer. They don't just let you off for shit like that unless you've made some kind of deal with the deep state. But yeah, so I would be really curious who this guy is, who he had contact with, if he has any kind of contact with the CIA, and if he was set up. Now, the whole fire itself is deeply rooted in conspiracy theory because Israel has taken over. We didn't have money for the firefighters or to tend the land because Israel has taken over.
Israel. Nope. Israel. Oh my God, isn't it funny, man? They can't see it. It's just right in their own backyard. They think it's Israel. Across the world did it. Israel. Remember, state of Israel equals 201, like the Jesuit order, like Aloysius de Gonzaga, like everything about Israel's 201 from the beginning. The first prime minister who died 201 days after the anniversary of Israel's establishment, and all the Netanyahu 201 rituals who went to school in Philadelphia, home of the synagogue of Satan. And again, so anyway, like I said, she's generally got the right idea, but this Israel thing, oh my God, Israel people, they've been doing this for longer than Israel's been around, okay?
Okay, so I just did a
what the
video
hell?
about this.
What's wrong with TikTok? How did that just happen?
Let's talk about the conspiracy that starts fire. Of course they haven't. I just do not personally believe that that is what's going on in Spokane, Washington. I think that if you are looking for a conspiracy theory element to this situation, I would ask where the arsonist came from. Does he have ties to Israel? And also, we should look into his criminal history and exactly what deal was made to get him out of prison. Because what the CIA loves to do is to make deals with criminals. That's their most favorite thing. If you ever run a background check on a man, and you absolutely should always be running a criminal and background check on a man, if he has any type of crimes that like don't have explanation. For example, I did a criminal background check on this one guy I was hanging out with, and he had assault of an officer that was dropped. Fed alert. Fed alert, especially assault of an officer. They don't just let you off for shit like that unless you've made some kind of deal with the deep state. But yeah, so I would be really curious who this guy is, who he had contact with, if he has any kind of contact with the CIA, and if he was set up. Now, the whole fire itself is deeply rooted in conspiracy theory because Israel has taken over. We didn't have money for the firefighters or to tend the land because Israel has taken over, and they funneled all the money out. And the way that they took over was by having Jeffrey Epstein, a Mossad agent, make up an island where you could go and touch your kids, and then they filmed you doing that, and then they had blackmail on you. That's how they got the whole government. This entire thing is...
Again, Jeffrey Epstein, probably a made-up character. Again, birthday's the 201st day of the U.S.'s age, 20/1. The words in the CIA's logo equal 201. The CIA, major Catholic startup, founded on the 201st day of the Pope's age. The CIA's motto, the center of a nation, or what is it? Oh my God, I can't think. I must be tired. The center of intelligence, whatever it is, the CIA's motto equals 201. Again, it's just everybody's caught up in the psyops. The whole fake truth community, the misled community thinks everything's Israel. Epstein's this big folk. I mean, look at all the stuff tied to Epstein. You think this one man did all these things? No, this is the work of the Jesuits. And the Jesuits just love to put those Jews out there right in front of them, like the Rothschild family. Remember the Rothschild on the Balfour Declaration? He died 201 days from his birthday. Rothschild means red shield, which is what the Romans had, which is what the Templars had, the original bankers. They're so good at putting those Jews right in front. See, it was him. It's this guy. You can't miss. He's got the big nose. This one right here. Oh my God. But again, she's closer to it than most people. Let's continue.
All connected. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, let's get to the part where people are like, well, why are the houses burned up and the mailboxes aren't, or the trees next door aren't, all the stuff? Because people say that is like evidence that supports a direct energy weapon, and I don't think it is. I think it just like supports the fact that Israel wants everybody's house gone. Because the thing is, if you look at like where the fire was, and the fire was intense and it was fast moving, I'm not denying any of that. There were people definitely that needed to leave immediately, but they evacuated those zones pretty fucking huge evacuation zones. 600 structures gone, but almost 70,000 people evacuated. And once you're evacuated from your home, if you didn't see the fires right on top of your house, you have no fucking clue what's going on. You don't know what's happening at your house. You don't know if there are more Israelis going house to house starting the fire. You don't know if they're, instead of hoses filled with water, they have hoses filled with fire. You have no idea what's going on. The part of colonization that Israel is doing right now is just about destabilization. They want to break up communities. So the best way to break up a community is by having some kind of large event where it's impossibly hard to return back to a community. After our apartment burned in 21, I never talked to my neighbors ever again. I never saw them again. You just go your separate ways. And breaking up community during colonization is a huge fucking deal. So yes, it is fucking weird that everything's gone in the houses. But when you compare these houses from this wildfire to houses that have burned, the firefighters are at the houses that are burning fire, like putting water on them. That's why there's a fridge left. That's why there's a metal part of the bed left. These houses were just allowed to burn. They evacuated all the people out of there and they just let it go. If you Google it, there's only like 400 firefighters for all of Spokane. And they're trying to like tell you, oh, there's 1,000 firefighters and all this stuff. And they're at Mount Spokane High School and we're putting on this big thing. 1,000 firefighters? For how fucking big Spokane is, and 700 of them are not from Spokane? That's fucking insane. It's laughable. Why are there not enough firefighters to fight the fucking fires? And that's because of Israel. It's because of Israel. So it's like people want to be really mad that the conspiracy theory isn't happening the day that...
It's because of Israel. What's wrong with people, man? The enemy is literally right in the backyard of Spokane. Were the founders warning about Israel? Of course they weren't, because Israel didn't even exist. Were they warning about the Jesuits? Oh, they were, especially Jefferson and Adams, who died together on the same day. Adams said the closest thing to hell on earth is the Jesuits. Think about that for all you Washingtonians living in the smoke and fire. When these people say, go forth and set the world on fire. They got people looking across the world thinking Israel is running the show in the U.S. when we fund the bills for Israel. And that might be why people think it's Israel, because we're funding their bills and not taking care of our own problems, but it's because this nation's not sovereign, and it hasn't been for a long time, and these central bankers are international. And again, who invented banking? the Jesuits. Why is Israel where it is today? Oh, it's there because of the Templars who used Al-Aqsa Mosque and called it Solomon's Temple. Don't forget Epstein died on the day to remember the destruction of Solomon's Temple. If you don't know about all that, get informed. I've covered it a gazillion times why Epstein died on Tisha B'Av. Supposedly, I mean, did he even die? The camera went out right before he died. Yeah, okay, the whole thing's a bunch of crock of shit. By the way, we should all cuss a lot less. This lady cusses way too much. If you want to be heard, some people won't listen to things with cussing. So if you want your message to be heard, clean up your potty mouth. I got to do the same. Anyway, just the Israel thing. God, can people learn history? Can people learn some history? All right, let's continue.
That it's happening. No, this conspiracy theory unfolded over the last 80 years. And if you want to know why the houses are just ash, it's because the fire is being allowed to just burn unchecked because we defunded the firefighters, but also they want your houses to be burned down to ash with no memories and nothing else. Colonization isn't just about taking the land. It's about taking everything from you. Your culture, your ethnicity, your history, everything. This is not a direct energy weapon. This is the fallout from Israel. Let's talk about the conspiracy theories surrounding the Spokane fires. I have a TikTok that's...
The fallout from Israel. It's laughable. It's laughable. Oh, God, it's bad, man. And you know what? You know what's sad, though? Because, see, I mean, this fake truth community, just everyone's minds are prepped. If you're not blaming the Jews, oh, you're not only... It's the Jews, man. I mean, we're talking about the Jesuits. It's the Jews. No, it's not. Yeah, I know they got their names all over the networks and the Hollywood studios. They're the middle managers, okay? All of this information is coming from the intelligence agencies, which are Catholic. They've been running the show. Again, look into the minuscule amount of land the Jews own in the world, and then look at what the Vatican owns. They own a lot. They own a lot, including the calendar we're on and the language we're speaking. Biggest private school network in the world. Biggest private hospital network in the world. Biggest orphanage network in the world. You wonder where they get all these these patsies from and false flag operatives? They got the network. Okay. Where is the video I saw last night? Was it taken down? This lady was going ballistic on conspiracy theorists. I want it back. Where is it at? I remember this one's really short. She's playing Jeff Buckley. She should hear the conspiracy theory about what happened to poor Jeff Buckley. All right, we'll just keep going. I can't see the video I found last night. God, this one lady's just been spazzing. You can tell she's a spaz. Can you imagine? Woo, this one. What's the spazzy lady got to say?
Stop. I have an entire list of conspiracy theories to debunk, and I'll get to that later. But for this morning, I'm so fucking irritated about people still thinking that these fires are connected to the data center that we have to talk about it. Okay, I also need you guys to pretend that common sense is common, okay? First of all, the spot of Spokane that burned is not the spot that they had proposed a data center. Let's just get that out of the way right now. That is not true, okay? Now I need you to understand that it also doesn't make sense. Why would someone who's trying to build a data center burn down or pay someone to burn down entire sections of a well-established city to build said data center when they could literally go a couple of miles in almost any direction and there is huge swaths of empty available land? Why would they go through all that extra cost and trouble and danger to make that happen? Just a reminder, that's not how capitalism works. As evil as capitalism is, they do the least amount of work for the most amount of profit. Why would they add all that extra time, energy, cleanup, trouble when they could just go to an empty piece of land and build a data center? Don't get me wrong. I absolutely agree that the data centers are awful. AI is unnecessary and evil. But connecting wild, unnecessary conspiracy theories to actual disasters is not helping anybody. Okay? Let's knock it off now. I'll see you guys later. Y'all just couldn't stop. I have an entire...
I mean, I do agree mostly with what she's saying. It's just she doesn't know what we're talking about over here, which would be a more worthy thing to upload to the internet. Let's try this one out.
Well, hello everybody. It has been a while
Wait,
for me.
that doesn't look like the same thing.
So I'm no scientist, but...
Exactly. Stop there. There's no but. You're not a scientist.
Yeah, take it from the scientists on TV, man. 2 mass, 3 mass, no mass. Let's go.
So I'm no scientist.
This is a message for people in Spain and France, where I think there are active wildfires happening there as well. Actually, Canada. I'm looking at you too. Are the citizens of your country saying that the government started the wildfires in order to flatten the area because that's where they're going to build AI centers? Or are these theories only happening in the United States?
Well, I'd like to take a stab at her question, since we've been educating about rigged championships and then major, you could say, paying dues to the devil if you want to do it that way. But, Spain got their 38th win, winning the rigged World Cup championship. And yes, it was rigged. And yes, we called out Spain, Argentina nearly a year in advance because we knew about Messi bathing Yamal way before everybody else did. And anyway, and plus a lot of other things, just like how we smashed the World Cup in 2022, calling out the 2 teams to be there way before it happened as well. Again, Argentina won their first championship since '86, the day after Pope Francis' 86th birthday. Argentina over France, Pope Francis. Anyway, Spain got their 38th win, winning the World Cup, and just for the record, champions 38, but so is Fire. And just like how Spokane, their fires very much synced with the Jesuits, and also the Jesuit creation of modern Freemasonry, and this fire just happened 38 days after modern Freemasonry's birthday. But yeah, Spain got their 38th win, and then poof, the whole nation on fire. And notice the nations that got the worst of it over there in Europe, Spain, France, the UK, weren't all 3 of them in the Final Four for the World Cup, so they all did really well, and then they all poof. This stuff's not an accident. Spain was the international news on July 25th. I showed you how all day they were showing the sign 70 with the fire blazing behind it. And so, again, 38th win. They had to keep showing you sign 70 synced with the 70-year-old Pope, Pope Leo the 14th, who, by the way, was in Spain on the first day of the World Cup. Not to mention Pope also equals 25. Remember, we got Mr. Farinacci over here who said 25 fires since 2025. Got the military document owning the weather by 2025. But the 29 up there, just in that same cipher, football's 29. This is what goes on across the world. I'm a broken record. I wrote a book about this a decade ago. Rigged sports, rigged news, ritual tragedies. It's an old world practice. In slave school, they used to teach us, man, those Aztecs, they'd have their big sport event for the king, and then they'd have some human sacrifices for the festival. Don't think those practices ended. So, yeah, these people are asking questions. I mean, they should have read my book a decade ago. Then they wouldn't be so lost in the sauce. What do we got over here?
Did the Spokane wildfires just happen to overlap with the locations of 2 proposed data centers in the area? No, they didn't. This is a conspiracy theory that I have heard going around recently, and I want to address this, but there's no truth to that. First of all, the conspiracy theory is that there are 2 proposed locations for data centers in the Spokane area, and fires just happened to be in the same locations as these proposed data centers. Very suspicious. Except it's not. Let me show you what I mean. Of the 2 proposed centers, one of them was down in the Airway Heights Medical Lake area, which, as we know, were not affected by the wildfires at all. The other proposed location is up here in the General Hilliard area. My understanding, and I'll double check this, my understanding is that this is the location of the old aluminum plant, which has been defunct and empty for a very long time. The conspiracy theory that we're hearing is that fires were set intentionally to this location and possibly the other location so that the data centers could come in and take over the land without having to pay off people who already live there. But the 2 sites are already locations where nobody lives. And if you take a look at this evacuation map up here, the evacuation zone map, see this little empty area right over here where there's no fire and no evacuation zone? That's where that Hilliard location is situated. Like, that location wasn't even evacuated, let alone touched by the fires. So is it possible theoretically that somebody wanted to commit arson for the purpose of freeing up space for these data centers? So they went and they created a bunch of other large fires very far away from that location, just kind of banking or hoping on the fact that they wouldn't be able to get the fire under control before it eventually sneaked in toward the center and came across that property. Maybe, in the sense that anything's possible, but in a real actual sense, no, that's not a thing. That's not a thing that would happen. Now, as far as the Old Trails fire, we're gonna find out the motive behind the arsonist that set this fire, allegedly. He's in custody, so we're gonna learn more over the next little while about why he chose to do that. And eventually, they'll finish investigations on the Autumn Fire and the Fairview Fire and give us indications of what they think may have started those as well. But it doesn't make any rational sense that if there's a proposed data center here-ish, that someone would set fires other places and not touch this location at all, right? Does that make sense? So if you're starting to hear rumors that there's a possibility that to free up this space for the data centers, it doesn't hold up. Neither of the fires touched those proposed locations, and both proposed locations already have an existing site that doesn't need to be burned down in order for someone to take it over. So if you hear that conspiracy theory, it's okay to just disregard it. Nothing sinister happened here beyond this one gentleman who, for reasons we don't quite yet know, allegedly started the Old Trails fire. But again, that fire was incredibly far away from both of the locations that have been proposed for the data center. Did the Spokane wildfires just happen to overlap with the locations of two proposed data centers in the area? No, they didn't. This is a conspiracy theory that I have heard going around.
Okay, so again, and this is what they do, you guys. They make the thing that's stupid viral, so then all the people that really believe in the news, like you heard, and by the way, I just saw the TV, which I would never question or do any research on, and they got the suspect, so we're gonna hear all about the truth pretty soon from the television. But yeah, again, it's the same thing every time. The fake information goes viral. The dummies just eat it up. And Mom, if you're out there watching, I see you sharing the fake dumb stuff all the time. I mean, God, what are you gonna do? Your parents. But again, come debunk what we're talking about over here. Come debunk what we're talking about, because you're not gonna do it. Because it's too well researched, because it's too on point, because I've just been harping on about the 144 ritual, and then boom, 6 days later on the anniversary of the Jesuit suppression, they're doing the exact same thing in Canada. A fire that spreads to 20,000 acres in a matter of hours? A few hours? Come on, man, that's weather warfare. Which was admitted to in 1952. Woo, 74 years ago, you guys. All right, let's see what else is out here. Let's see. Seems a little fishy to me. Got some likes. Let's see. Oh.
Hey guys, I just wanted to make a point real fast. It's actually super easy to conspiracize everything when you know nothing. I'm so sick of every time we have massive wildfires, people being like, look, bro.
By the way, it's really easy for the cabal to get away with what they do when everybody knows nothing. Yeah, like in slave school, did you learn anything about anything? Did you learn about the founders who warned about the Jesuits subverting the nation? Did you learn about that? Because that's fact. Did you learn about what Lincoln said, which the internet now tries to say is, oh, those are just rumors. They're not documented in the things you learned about in slave school, but Lincoln blaming the Civil War on the Jesuits. And, you know, while Google can try to downplay it all they want, and by the way, Google celebrates their birthday on the anniversary of the Jesuits being recognized by the Roman Catholic Church, September 27th, while they can downplay it all they want, you can look into the fact that John Surratt, the Jesuit, was part of the assassination of Lincoln, and he escaped, and he was never caught, and he was protected by the Vatican for the rest of his life, and his mother was executed by the U.S. government in his place. How come we don't learn about that? How come we don't learn about John Surratt and the Jesuit plot? How come we don't learn about it? Nobody has the Jesuits in their vocabulary because they're just hiding right behind the scenes. And then they disseminate it's the Jews, it's Israel. Every Catholic agent in social media, from Candace Owens to Tim Pool to Nick Fuentes and everyone else that came before them. All right, let's continue with this girl. But let's take it from the top since I interrupted her. I can tell this one's sassy and she's got something to say. Society of copycats, everybody inked up head to toe, man, because nobody can think for themselves. Let's continue.
Hey guys, I just wanted to make a point real fast. It's actually super easy to conspiracize everything when you know nothing. I'm so sick of every time we have massive wildfires, people being like, look bro, the houses are gone, but the trees are still standing. The trees are still standing. And finally, I have a comment that actually succinctly describes what's happening, because if you've lived in the Pacific Northwest for any period of your childhood, you should have learned about conifers and how they handle fire. Because, spoiler alert, conifers need fire in order to become a forest. That's how their pine cones open. This comment from a firefighter reads, "This isn't a mystery, it's the most documented pattern in wildfire science. The wildfire doesn't burn the neighborhood, it ignites the first few houses and then the houses burn houses. A house is 15 to 20 tons of kiln dried lumber at 8 to 15% moisture plus plastics, foam, and carpet, stacked and ventilated. It burns for hours at over 1,000 degrees Celsius and keeps smoldering after collapse. That converts everything organic to gas and ash and leaves a concrete slab and metal. That's your imprint. The trees got hit by the same fire for maybe 60 seconds as the front passed. Live conifer needles run around 100% moisture content, meaning the water weighs as much as the needle, and that water absorbs heat and dilutes flammable gases coming off of it. Thick bark insulates the living tissue underneath. Fire scientists call this residence time, and it is the entire answer. On top of that, most homes ignite from wind-blown embers landing in the gutters and the attic vents, not from the flame front rolling across the yard. The ignition arrives by air, which is exactly why you get destroyed houses with green trees around them. And plenty of those green trees are already dead. Scorch needles stay green for about 2 weeks. And then there were people on this going, well, what about Hawaii? Why were the houses in Hawaii absolutely decimated but not the palm trees? And I think that you guys are either fundamentally not understanding what synthetic fibers and synthetic materials do, or you've been propagandized to not understand. Modern homes burn 8 to 10 times faster than homes that were built prior to the 1970s. And it literally has to do with all the flammable resins, the plastic that's inside of the carpets, and the acrylics that they actually paint the house with, alongside all of the plastic siding and stuff. We know how plastic literally burns and melts and how it spreads fire. But the thing is you used to have about 30 to 45 minutes to escape a house fire. Now you have 15 to 17 minutes. And if you're in smaller constructions, like RVs, you're not making it out. I think it's less than 10% of people who are in RV fires live through them. It's largely why they've tried to outlaw RV and tiny house living, because of all of the people who've had electrical fires in the last 10 years trying to escape rent increases. Conifers are specifically a plant that evolved to bloom after wildflowers or after wildfires. All types of pine cones have to be exposed to heat in order to bloom. And the thing is it has to be 140 degrees Fahrenheit in order for a pine cone to bloom. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. Conifer trees are able to withstand a shit ton of fire before they actually start burning because of the environment they're in. This is a temperate rainforest. So, all I'm trying to say here is, every time there's a wildfire, I don't need to hear you stupid fucks talking about space lasers. I don't need conspiracies about why there are trees left behind and not houses. We know why there are trees and not houses. Again, it's really easy to make conspiracies when you don't know anything. And a lot of this is easily accessible information. Have you never listened to a firefighter? Have you never listened to any of those people who talk about when their babies are lost to fire? Be so fucking for real. It seems like y'all don't care until you want attention for making a big deal out of something that you don't fully understand and that you know a lot of other people don't know very much about. And maybe instead of spreading conspiracy theories and misinformation, you should hop on the internet and go Google how this stuff happens, because it's very easy to figure out when you use your brain. Maybe use your brain. Hey guys, I just wanted to.
And let me retort by, yeah, maybe you should hop on the internet and do some better research and not regurgitate mainstream news about how the fire started, because I do agree with almost everything she said, but at the same time, I'm picking up on whiffs of, I believe all the bullshit crammed down my throat by the mainstream, and I only question other people, because again, I caught on to this as an 18-year-old, you guys, that there was something about numerology and news stories. And when 9/11 happened, I said, Flight AA11 on the 11th in New York at the 11th state, and those buildings look like an 11. And then, I was already like this after George W. Bush became the president. After first they called it for Al Gore, but it was because of the state where his brother was the 43rd governor that made him the 43rd president when their daddy was the 43rd vice president. But then it's like you do some research and you're like, wow, look at that. Daddy Bush gave a speech on September 11th, 1990 about a new world order, only for the World Trade Center to come down 11 years later. And it's not a conspiracy theory. It's a coincidence in the mainstream that, Papa Bush was at the table with the Bin Laden family just blocks from the World Trade Centers on the day they came down. I started looking at all this, I'm like, bullshit. This is not an accident. This is some kind of ritual. Everybody's locked down. We're not allowed to fly, but the only people that can fly in the nation are the Bin Laden family back to Saudi Arabia, our ally, when they're telling us all the hijackers are from. It's like, wait a minute. So our allies, where all the hijackers are from, and they couldn't even find planes, but they found the passports, with the 19 passports, and the Quran code, which goes back to 1968. They say the whole book's based on 19. And by the way, that's the year 911 was made, the National Emergency Island Code, and World Trade Center construction began. And Papa Bush was working at the CIA, and George W. Bush graduated from Skull and Bones. And no, I started to find out all this stuff as a teenager. I was like, what the hell is going on? So, by the way, you guys, look it up. The day that Governor Dewey of New York planned the World Trade Center project, called for the first committee to plan the future World Trade Center, that date was July 6th, 1946. You know who was born on the same day that Governor Dewey called for the commission to plan to build the first World Trade Center? Who was born on July 6, 1946? Oh, George W. Bush. Wow. Think about how planned out things are, you guys. Why don't you get on the internet and do some research? Figure out what's actually going on here. Skull and Bones, what the Bushes were in. What's that modeled after? The Illuminati? Who founded the Illuminati? Adam Weishaupt, a Jesuit? So... yeah, take your own advice too. You are right. Hey, she seems intelligent. She seems well-spoken. She's got that total Seattle chick vibe. There's a lot of that going on in Spokane too. I'm sure she loves the ladies. It's all right. I always think if I was a lady, I might love the ladies too. I just don't know. But anyway, yeah, take some of your own advice there at the end. Get on the internet and do some research, because the enemy's right in your own backyard. Right in your own backyard. I really hope these people come out. I wouldn't it be awesome to just debate with everybody? I'll probably get shot, but hey, then the research might actually get out there. September 5th, come out to Gonzaga, you guys. I'll be handing out. If I can get this into a nice little book form, I'll even be handing those out. It might just be sheets of paper for the time being, but we're getting the information out in the flesh again. Prepare, I might have to start a new YouTube channel. It happened after New York. Let's see what this guy's got. This guy knows how to dress to impress. At least I don't have my wife beater on today, huh? Let's continue.
Hey guys, we just did a cut-in after hearing some new developments in the Spokane complex fire.
Oh, hold up. My bad. We got Ed in the back. Sorry, I don't know how long you've been back there, Ed, but I can't keep you back there a minute longer. If you guys don't know Ed, very well spoken, lots of information. How long were you back there for, Ed?
I was trying to get my camera and audio set up. I automatically disabled, but I got it working again. No, it's no worries, Zach. These people are absolutely fucking morons. Every single one of these are paid fucking morons to just steer the mindless sheep off the cliff so that they can continue their agenda every single day. Absolutely fucking morons. If you're on TikTok, if you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, scrolling through everything and clicking like and share and saying that you're the smarter one, grow a fucking brain. You have no clue. You're a useless tool. You're a fucking moron. You're a retard. You are absolutely fucked in the head because you've been brainwashed. And you know how I know you've been brainwashed? Because I was part of the psychological operations. I know how these people work. I know how they think. And what do they use as the gatekeepers? Your media. What does brainstorm mean? They brainstorm to control you. What does mass communications mean? Mass, sacred, Catholic, ritual. You are a fucking moron if you turn on your media controlled by six, think about it, 666, six global corporations programming you every single day. Do I have to spell it out for you, you fucking retards? These people go back to BC, before crap, before Christ. Every single fucking thing that you are that is put in front of you is for one agenda. It's to divide and conquer because they know you are goyim. You are dirt. You are filth to them. They don't give a fuck about you. Who were the Jesuits? The first people to establish what? Communism. They established their communes in Argentina. Why do you think the four base Jesuit
Just if people aren't aware, just look up Argentina's flag. I mean, it literally has the Jesuit sun in the middle of it. That's why Pope Francis, the first Jesuit pope, is from Argentina. But please go ahead.
Why do you think the four fucking base Jesuit countries were in the Final Four of the World Cup? It's in your face. 25 years later, Ferran scores the winning goal. Farinacci, get it? It's a joke. And there were forest fires and smoke into New York City at MetLife Stadium 25 years after the direct energy weapons and thermite and FEMA and Giuliani.
Hold on, I got to pause. We are coming up on the 25th anniversary, right? It's not quite 25, it is 24 years and change, and the word Muslim equals 24. And who won the World Cup in New York? The 19-year-old Muslim Yamal, like 19 hijackers, and just like Mom Donnie, you know, he had his little Masonic ritual, surprising on the primary on modern Freemasonry's birthday, and then taking office 24 years after 9/11 happened. That's
Ferran Torres Garcia is right in your face. It's 119, like 9/11. MetLife is 119. Spain wins 119. Ferran Torres Garcia 97, the 25th prime. The U.S. just commemorated its 250th, like 25 after 1776, and the Freedom Towers 1776 feet. Yeah. And then you got Sunday, July 19th, 2026. If you write that out, it's 74, like July 4th, and 2026 FIFA World Cup equals 74, and Burnt Offering equals 74. And then you got 25th anniversary of September 11th, 2001 equals 167, with 39th prime. And Freedom equals 39, New York City equals 39, Ferran Torres equals 39. You know, you got all of these things. Then you got 2026 World Cup champions, 97. Spain wins World Cup, 97. The PNAC agreement, which I touched on earlier, was signed in 97. Statement of Principles, 97, 119. September 11th, 2001, false flag, 97. The Statement of Principles was signed exactly 223 weeks before 9/11. And Spain wins World Cup 223. These people, the 223 weeks was 1,561 days before 9/11. And Francis Bacon was born in 1561. And from his date of birth, or was it his birthday or his death date? No, sorry, the World Cup soccer match from July 19th to September 11th was 54 days. Jesuit order, 54 days, September 11th, 2001, 54. You know, you got Spain wins 2026 World Cup, 93, One World Trade Center, 93, Farron, 35, Towers, 35, Torres, Towers, do you guys get it? Catholic, the CIA, 35, American Airlines, United Airlines, 149, the 35th prime, the goal scored in the 106th minute, 144. 9/11 started at 8:46, which equals 54. September 2001, 106. España, 106. Afghanistan and Iraq, if you equal those, 322, 106. September 11th, 2001, false flag operations, 177. CIA military, 177. The Jesuit order, 177. September 11th, 2001, 93, 97, false flag operation, 97, Twin Towers and Pentagon, 97, four planes, September 11, 97, PSYOPs, 25. Do you guys get it yet? The Twin Towers and the Pentagon equals 127. Buildings 1, 2, and 7. Revelation 6 equals 127. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry equals 127. Remember December, Denver and New York played on September 10th, 2001. That equals 127. CIA military operation 127. 25th anniversary of September 11th, 2001 equals 167. The 39th prime. FIFA World Cup 2026 winner equals 110. 51 points scored. In that, New York NY equals 51. Remember, it was played at Invesco Fields, the opening day on 8/11. Get it? If anybody listens to these fucking morons here, I'll give you, if they're talking so much about that, they know so much about these things. How many people out there know about the Belfort Group? Zach, do you know about the Belfort Group?
Belfort.
Belfort, Belfort.
I don't.
Belfort Group, Citizens in Action, Case Orange, Contrail Science, its impact on climate, weather manipulation programs conducted by the United States and its allies. They're out of Belgium. You think this isn't global? Everything in there, contrails, distrails, wingtip vortices, chemtrails, aircraft engine regulations, effect on contrails of cloud formations, cirrus clouds. Guess what? Operation Cirrus. I mean, they got patents all over it, controlling all of the weather. Here, I'll give you one, Zach. You can put this up on the screen. I'll spell it out real for you. Can you pull up Google?
Yeah. Just so
Okay.
you know, in the background, I'm trying to finish writing a mini book to hand out at Gonzaga, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I got a lot about that and everything, but okay, just type in US, United States, US 598 4239 Alpha. Franklin Y.K. Chen. This goes
You just
back
mean,
to...
actually put an A. You just mean A for alpha. I got you.
Yeah. Weather modification by artificial satellites.
Remember Lyndon Johnson, he said in the 60s, who controls the weather controls the world. And he said in the future, there will be a weather satellite to control the world's cloud layer. If you guys missed this, remember how, you guys, on the 249th birthday of the U.S., remember what happened that day? The horrible flooding there in Texas that wiped out the girls' camp. And it wasn't far from where Lyndon Johnson grew up. I mean, we talked about this in a big way. We said, and we played the clip. We played the clip of Lyndon Johnson in the 60s, not long after JFK's future weather control speech, talking about this emerging weather satellite who controls the weather, controls the world.
133rd degree masonry placed for another. It's all a joke. Truman, what did he do?
You see, isn't it frustrating that
he bombed the Japs on the only Christian community? Do you guys get it? You morons.
Most of them don't get it. But again, it is
morons.
so frustrating that people think this weather warfare is some kind of just conspiracy theory when it was literally banned by the U.S. government in the 70s. I mean, it was a long time ago now. Kennedy and Johnson are talking about it at the start of the 60s.
1961, it was Operation Storm Fury.
And again, they were experimenting with hurricanes in 1947.
1947, correct.
The first cloud seeding experiment with Kurt Vonnegut's brother, Bernard Vonnegut, working for General Electric's earlier in the 40s. I mean, you guys, they were supposedly developing the atomic bomb in the 30s and 40s. I mean, they've been pretty advanced. And like I said, their Hanford, where they developed it, isn't far from where this just happened. This big fire on 8/1, and they're saying it looks like a bomb went off, and they got the guy in court on the 81st anniversary of the bomb going off, where the only survivors were Jesuit priests. I mean,
okay, you want to know something really weird? Go to I got this Prospero Farinacci. Wow, just randomly, huh? We get a Farron and a Farinacci. Prospero Farinacci. Can you pull him up just in Google? I want you guys to, I just want you to see how crazy this shit is. Farinacci, are you really, Zach, I know you're in Washington State, and I've been there a couple times. I know that you got the Spokane.
And you nailed it. You nailed it. God, these people are the best.
Okay, you got an Air Force base 12 fucking miles from Spokane, and guess what they're in charge of? Fog and water.
Like I've always said, look at this. Cloud seeding is 206. I mean, look at Seattle, the rainy city, the 206 area code. Bill Gates has been on the record talking about how we might need to start dimming the skies.
Okay. The thing that I want to get before I lose track. Oh, he had 206 there, but anyway. Okay, look. He died. Oh, wait, is this the same one? I had some guy. No, there was one. Who did I pull up? I had one where he was killed exactly 74 years. There was a Farinacci. Maybe it was the other one. But anyway, Farinacci, if you don't know, he was he was a legal scholar appointed by Pope Clement. Yeah, there it is down at the bottom there. So you'll see.
I see this Pope Paul piece. The guy who saw Farinacci was named Paul Child, which equals 86. Again, he shows up in court on 86. 1,086 is on this too.
Okay. Go back to his name because I had something there for a moment. Prospero Farinacci.
You mean Gematria back up?
Go back to the Gematrinator. Okay. 102. I'm trying to.
Art of War code right there. 96 Freemasons. 186 is Vatican Hill.
Washington state, I had something. Fires. Maybe I had something.
Like I said, 186 is Vatican Hill, 96 is Freemason, 102 is the Art of War Code. I mean, all those numbers stand out to me.
Okay, Washington State Forest was the 118. What were you saying before about 118? I can't remember. Maybe. Oh no, it was Washington State Forest Fires. 11-1. Washington State Forest Fires. 11-9. That was the connection that I was trying to make with the World Cup. 11-9, 9/11.
Yeah, Fire Rituals 119. I was saying now in 1889, Seattle burned up on a 119 date. Spokane burned up on a 119 date. The first time they put out the guy's name, it was Aaron F. Farinacci, just the middle initial, which is 119. A bunch of cities are burning up in British Columbia right now on the 119th.
Oh, that's what it was. I'm sorry, Zach. The 118 was Gonzaga. That was what I was trying to get.
Yeah, Gonzaga does have that connection.
Okay, so and then Gonzaga Bulldogs is the 71, the Catholic,
like
and then
Gonzaga alone 71 like Catholic. And again, from the guy's supposed murder anniversary, the guy who's blamed for killing his father and setting the fire, he supposedly killed his dad on October 11th, the day leaving 81 days left in the year. So.
And then you mentioned Carney before. He has that 33.
Yeah.
And Carney has 96. What did we just say?
Yeah. He went to school in St. Peter's there in New Jersey in the 201 area code.
Yeah, you got wildfires, and then you got wildfires 57, Scottish Rite. 105.
Yeah.
Weather has that 80 and 35 connection, but very Illuminati and Catholic. Modification.
I just got to emphasize, you guys, I've always talked about this. The things they do are always paying tribute to history. So here you have this Farinacci, who was a lawyer in his time, who defended a woman who allegedly killed her father, which is a really famous case from that time period. I mean, come on, man. Farinacci, father. And that's why I've been trying so hard to find more information on his prison sentence and his release. I'm pretty sure this whole story is just made up. This is an invented person for the media.
Right, and then you got Weather Warfare, which is the other 71, which plays into Gonzaga. Weather Warfare.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Okay.
And the judge's name equals 152. The judge who went to Gonzaga, who oversaw the Aaron Farinacci day in court, his name's 152.
Can you go back to Prospero? Because that was the thing that I was trying to get to, because they're talking about prosperity, and it only comes through enlightenment. Prospero, where is that in? Just his first name.
Just Prospero alone.
Prospero, yeah, because it's prosperity.
122, like Jesus Hominum Salvator. That's all over the starting locations for the fire. The name of the park and the, Airway Heights, they have the 122 connection, which goes with Jesus Hominum Salvator, the Jesuit motto. Jesus Hominum Salvator, 122, IHS 18 like sun, like how the date the fire began can be written 1/8. Again, Spokane means sun people.
I'm a day ahead of you. Remind me your time. I'm sorry. Which date was August 1st?
The 213th day of the year.
No. The specific day.
Oh, wait, though.
Saturday.
It's the day leaving 152 days left in the year. What did we just have up here? What did we just have up there? The 152? I already forgot.
The 152 Prospero?
Was it just Prospero alone? Was that what it was? What I was just looking at? No, it was 122. I just had something up there as one. I said the judge's name is 152 and something else. What did I just have up here a second ago? I'm tired.
Saturday, August 1st has that 106 connection, like I was bringing up with the World Cup before.
Oh, it's weather warfare.
Right.
Yeah, so August 1st leaves 151 days left in the year.
Right. And then you got Saturday, August 1st, 2026, that has that 206 connection, which you were talking about before. 59 as well. Maybe if I take off the first. No, that's where it was. I'm sorry. Saturday, August 1, 2026, that has the 56 Society of Jesus.
I just got to show people this. Jeremy Schmidt, the guy who went to Gonzaga Prep, Gonzaga University, and teaches law at Gonzaga, you guys. 152, like weather warfare, like August 1st leaves 152 days left in the year.
August 1, 2026 has that 84.
Personally, I mean, you can do that stuff. I don't like it to make it feel like I'm reaching for numbers at all. I just like
No.
stuff
I'm
right there. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying that people can say, well, why does it happen on this date? Why are people born on these days? I mean, if you want to go that far, okay, but I'm just pushing it to where that was the other connection that I had. They kept saying in every video, AI data center 101 47 223 79. AI data center. And if you want to do AI data centers, it has that 120. See how they manipulate people to get their message out in hidden code? They have these motherfucking morons who think that. Can you go back to that first guy who was the Democrat in the Seattle Seahawk?
You want to hear it one more time?
No, I want his. I just pull up his name.
It's really sickening when I see people on here spewing base.
Put that into GematriaEffectNews.
Okay.
See?
I mean, I do see some things that are interesting. It's just, personally, I don't want to reach into that for my decodes. I mean, there's just enough here with just all the things that we know are official. But I hear what you're saying. I mean, it is possible.
Okay. But what I'm saying is, for everybody out there who is told you're a conspiracy theorist, you're crazy, remember, the CIA had infiltrators in the media who initially coined that phrase for the JFK assassination during the Warren Commission. And I didn't even know before. Did you know that the Warren Commission was commissioned 13 days after JFK was assassinated?
I'm pretty sure I've covered that because Dallas is the 13th city.
Right. And Dealey Plaza is the whole sun wretch. If you look from a satellite picture above, if you look at Dealey Plaza, it actually mimics the Vatican, the sun compass, the sundial, the whole roundabout. And then you got the I-35 freeway, 35 Catholic, I think Parkland is...
Yeah, that's what, again, Dallas is the 214. They had the Parkland shooting, a total psyop on February 14th, 214, a little tribute to the JFK thing.
Yeah. I mean he was killed 9 days before he was supposed to repay China some debt, and then he had the executive order trying to get the U.S. notes to destabilize the Fed. U.S. notes. Same thing with Lincoln. But anyway, I just had to get through these rants, but I mean, if you have any questions or anything else.
Well, you brought a lot of amazing facts to the table. The one that I'm definitely going to be adding to the book is right here. I mean, this is what I've always said to you guys. They're paying tribute to history. You just have to find it, and you found it. Farinacci was a lawyer who defended a woman in a very well-known case for the time who allegedly killed her father. I mean,
can you pull up her name? We didn't look at that yet. Beatrice Cenci. Cenci.
She died on September 11th, huh?
That's the other thing that I was
Fire
trying
Ritual
to
119.
quick.
9/11.
Cenci was beheaded in 1599 after a murder trial in Rome. Of 1580. Oh, there was that 1584.
Look at this, Beatrice Cenci, 8/3. What day did they announce the arrest of the perp?
8/3. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then 97.
And I told you guys, I told you there was something to the guy who saw him. He's wearing a hat that says 1961. I knew there was something to the 61.
Yeah.
Beatrice Cenci, 61. And remember, look at the 97 too. The night they arrested him, his name was just a middle initial. Aaron F. Farinacci, 97. Like how that woman's name has 97 in it, like the Vatican's 97 right now.
Well, and the 70s.
Hold up. Do you see that? What day of the year is September 11th?
The 254th day of the year.
Look at that, you guys. I mean, they've been doing this stuff for a long time.
If it's not a leap year, yes. That's right. And then again, the 97, the 25th prime. Fire.
Yeah, that's just. I mean, it was already nailed in the common time. You nailed it, man. That is a huge find. The Prospero. Boom.
Okay. So, trying to think one more thing. There was another Farinacci, and he died exactly 74 years on his birthday.
The fascist?
Can you pull? Maybe it was. But I'm just thinking 74.
Roberto Farinacci?
Sacrificial lamb.
Looks like this guy, if he did die on his birthday, it must not be the same guy. He didn't die on his birthday.
I found another 74.
This one though died on the 118th day of the year. In light of what you just said about Gonzaga.
Okay. Yeah. But that.
And he died the year they dropped the bomb 81 years ago. That's probably connected.
Can you do a time and date difference? I just want to see the gap.
From from his birthday to his death, this guy?
28 April to let's just do the first atomic bomb.
Oh, to August 6th? Okay.
Let's do August 6th and August 9th. Because you got 86 as blood sacrifice.
100 days later.
Oh, there's that 3 months, 9 days. And then if you do a total span, you got 101 or 114 weeks, 3 days. 143 is...
They kept giving different variations of his name. I feel like one of them was 100. Aaron.
Atomic equals 101. And 61. And 38. 61, 25. 101 and 38. Atomic bomb. Has that 177. Atomic bomb equals 93, 39, 177. Atomic bomb equals 40, 112, 68. Atomic bombs.
Yeah. In light of this guy dying on the 118th day of the year, 81 years ago, Gonzaga 118, Spokane 81. I mean, this is definitely part. And again, him showing up in court on the anniversary of the bomb dropping. I mean,
and I went back and
It's a tribute to
listened.
fascism, right? That's ultimately what this is a tribute to, and we know this nation truly is fascist. I mean, the Mussolini's definition is the merger of government and corporation. I don't know how anyone could say we have anything else going on here.
The whole Jesuit order, the whole Vatican, the whole drive is communism. Why do you think all of a sudden we get the DSA? Can you type in DSA? Show everybody. Democrat Socialists of America, DSA. Just do the
acronym?
well, you can do the acronym first. 57.
And
See?
21 like Rome.
Yeah. And then do that one. 288. You remember that one? I know you have it in a lot of posts.
Well,
what's
some
it was
people might say MLK could have been a precursor to that. He gave his big speech.
Didn't you have a whole thing on George Bush, Daddy Bush dying on 288, something with 288?
Oh, maybe that was man, you got a good memory. I think that was a big number when Bush died there, 288. I forgot about that 288 pattern.
I can't believe that I've been with you 10 years or I mean off and on. But
you know what? They might have deleted my post on that, but I think you're right. I found that huge 288 pattern with the Bush family because I'm searching my old website and the post isn't coming up. They've deleted so many posts on my old site.
I went back to it too. But nobody knows that Hitler was a 33rd degree Mason. And he didn't write Mein Kampf. A Jesuit wrote it.
Yeah.
You know, everybody on TikTok and everybody else says we're freaking out of our minds. We're the dumb ones. We're the retarded ones. No, I'm sorry. Everybody out there eating up this Comcast, AT&T, Verizon bullshit every day. There's a brain dead out of my lungs.
I just saw people complaining about echo. Sorry, it's some new glitch. I need to mute my mic when he talks. I wish I would have saw that earlier, but I hope you guys have been able to hear it. It's been a great conversation. I'm just going to mute while you talk because I know it'll solve the problem they're hearing.
Who's that?
Yeah, go ahead, Ed. I'm just going to click mute because it'll make your audio more clear for them. I didn't realize we were having that problem again.
I'm sorry. I'm just rambling. I mean, I went back and I just... remember last time I brought up this zero, I have to forget again, Zoroastrianism. And there's some Zoroastrianism. I just want you, I'll put it in the chat so that you can type it out correctly. I just want you guys to understand this whole connection between the Vatican and Iran all the time. They were linked with COVID. Do you remember these random cases in Italy and Iran at the start of COVID?
Sorry, I had to hit the unmute. No, I don't. Tell me about it.
Okay, so if people don't know the meaning of 84, as far as I know, I mean, it might have changed. I've been out of the military for so many years, but we, at last count, there are 84 black op bioweapon facilities scattered around the world. 2 of them were... as far as I know, in Iran and Italy. And those were 2 of the first countries who had cases of COVID for some reason. And I'm thinking, you know, I'm here in the Philippines and I'm thinking, what the fuck does Seattle, Washington have to do with Italy and Iran? And then... you know, but if you can go back to November, because it didn't get to the States until March. But if you can pull up Iran COVID cases or Italy COVID cases, see, with this U.S. aid and I forget, out of Fort Detrick, they send these universities and Fort Detrick, where all of the where AIDS was created and sent to Africa in this to the Congo and Ebola and everything else back. I don't know how far it goes back, but I mean, you got all of these weapons, bioweapons and everything else distributed to these 84 sites throughout the world, and they do whatever they want with them. Yeah, anyway, I'm just scatterbrained, Zach, but if you can pull up that Zoroastrianism for everyone to see. This is where you're getting the Strait of Hormuz. Hormuz, if you go in, here is just an offshoot of Ahura Mazda, the creator, and the Vatican and Nazis and Jesuits and everything all went to Iran. I mean, Mithraism, Mithra, the bull slayer, that's all the Vatican is. It was adopted in the 4th century from Iran. There's always a connection between the Vatican and Iran, no matter how much you want to play it off. I mean, or dismiss it. I mean, you can go back to every single thing, but you got the Strait of Hormuz. It's Baal. Hormuz. Can you type in Hormuz Baal worship? I'm trying to think. Hormuz Baal worship. Ahura Mazda, right? What did we just see their god in Zoroastrianism is? These people are so fucking sick and twisted. I mean, the Nasti swastika is Buddhist. The Aryans were Buddhist Indians. And people want to say, oh, you're a Nazi, you're an Aryan. Okay, I'm an Indian. I mean, people are so fucking retarded that you don't learn anything in school. 13 years of fucking bullshit we went through, Zach. I mean, I graduated January 2000. Maybe I'm a year and a half older than you. I mean,
I'm class of 2001. Yeah, you're ahead of me.
Okay. I mean, I'm going up on 45, but anyway. Just remember September 11th, Zach. You got fried cars, burnt out cars. I mean, melted steel cars. Not steel cars, but you know what I'm talking about. Steel frame cars, all burnt out, melted. You got fires burning for months. Giuliani dumping or bringing in his dump trucks. People don't know that? Type in September 10th, 2001, FEMA dump trucks or Giuliani dump trucks for all the dirt that they had to put on the fires. What was FEMA doing in New York City the night of September 10th, 2001? You think it's all a fucking coincidence, you fucking retards? You TikTok conspiracy theorists.
Hold on, Ed. I know that you're right about this. I'd forgotten about this element 9/11, but this is what's annoying about it being 2026, because they'll do a search and this is what comes up right away. Oh, it's just a conspiracy theory. It's unfounded. But no, people should look into that. FEMA was in New York in a big presence the day before 9/11. This is what's so irritating about this Orwellian age. I know you're not wrong about this. I'd forgotten this piece.
Zach, type in building 7 tenants. Building 7 tenants. World Trade Center 7 tenants. If people don't know why 7 was pulled, you can pull it up. World Trade Center 7 building tenants. Sorry, I gotta open up my window. We just had 11 inches of rain with the typhoon. I'm a bit pissed about weather manipulation.
Oh, Energy and Weapon 88. We're here. We are on the anniversary of Maui burning up.
Okay. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Type in Brady bonds.
Tom Brady?
Brady bonds. These were the bonds that were supposed to be paid out on September 12th, 2001. Exactly 10 years after Daddy Bush said, we got a beacon of light. We got to push these through. And then the whole gold disappeared underneath the World Trade Center. And guess what? That gold was to back those Brady bonds from the PNAC agreement so they could get that. Zach, I want you to do one thing for me. Show September 2001 opium production, Afghanistan.
Well, we know about this one. The Taliban had it pretty much down to 0 before he went in there and killed them all and brought it all back.
And then it went up to 3,000% production.
And again, Giuliani. Again, you guys, Giuliani was the 107th mayor. 9/11 happened on the 107th day of his age. Good Catholic boy.
Okay,
so
so
Afghanistan on 10/7, like military's 107, and then he ends up defending the Sackler family and the whole Oxy thing. So he's connected to 9/11 and defending the opioid dealers. I mean,
where was his office? World Trade Center 7. Where's the CIA? World Trade Center 7. Where's the Security and Exchange Commission? World Trade Center 7. You guys think that they don't have an agenda before they do anything? Go back
by
to...
the way, don't forget that building, 47 floors tall, each floor 47,000 square feet. The CIA established in 47, government and authority 47, Osama bin Laden 47, always 47. Just some Solomon Brothers building, like masonry secrets are in Solomon's temple. The 47th problem of Euclid. Here we go again with Spokane burning up 47 days before Gonzaga's birthday. Just so you know, I gotta wrap it up here in a few minutes. Sweet lady's calling me, but closing thoughts, Ed.
Okay, well, I never got your connection on WhatsApp or anything. I really want to do more collaboration with you. Did you not get my number, or did you not have time to add me? Or
I'm sorry, I'm horrible on WhatsApp. I'm gonna open it up right now.
Okay. I might not. Here, you know what? I will give you my personal email, and then...
I wouldn't do it.
No.
The trolls, man. Watch out. Don't put it anywhere.
No, I'm putting it in the private
No, that's
chat.
what I mean. They could be back there watching. I wouldn't do it anywhere. Your email's going to be full of nonstop junk.
Anyway.
Sebastian, you always do this, man. I say I got to get off and then just hop on out of nowhere. It's like unbelievable. Sebastian, I just said I got to get off. Why would you come on right now? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you can see it in the chat if you want to copy it there. And then delete it.
Okay. I don't know if I can delete it, but I'm writing all this stuff down real quick.
All right. Well, as soon as you close the private chat, then I mean, it's gone. But
yeah.
Anyway.
All right. I'll send you a message though.
All right. I gotta get my battery working. My phone is Hubbard somehow. Trying to get a new one. Anyway, I hope I've helped you out. with the book and the connections as best as I could.
Yeah, I mean this Farinacci thing is it shows just the mockery and who's doing this.
Well, I mean, it was the same thing they told you about Corona and Ferrero, right? They always have a Vatican connection, you know?
It's obvious who runs the show, but most people somehow just don't know. So.
Oh, it's the Jews. It's the Jews. The Jews are the puppets for the Vatican.
Yeah.
The Muslims are the scapegoats for the Vatican. I mean, the Catholics and the Muslims wear the same exact garbage, the same exact things. I mean, the burqa and the nuns wear the exact same things. The priests and the imams wear the exact same clothes. I mean, go fuck yourselves if you don't believe that shit.
And by the way, just the whole Mom Donnie and now the Muslim winner in the Michigan primary, how perfectly both of those rituals are connected to the Pope. Wake up, people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just sad. I mean, the whole Enclave movie coming out exactly a couple days before the Pope dies and everything. I mean, was it Conclave or
Yeah, Conclave or Mockery.
Something like that. I mean, anyway, Zach, I'll be happy to, if you just want to name a topic, I'll be able to help you out as much as I can. I mean, I got loads and loads and loads of documents and movies and articles and everything else saved going back to my Army days and everything else that you want. So, I mean, if you need help with this book, I can help you out. Weather modification, anything. I don't know. I'm just bored. I'm writing my own book as a satire of the Vatican. I'm trying my best. I'm just on chapter 3 now, but it's about a guy finding out who really runs the show about everything. It's supposed to be a deep thriller, but I'm just doing it as a satire to point everybody to say, oh, the Vatican. At the end of the book, spoiler alert, the guy finds out that the Vatican's running the whole show. So anyway, yeah, whatever. But I hope we can collab. Anybody else out there? I wish you the best of luck. Whenever you hear conspiracy theorist, just remember the CIA coined it for a reason.
Ed, really appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming on, and I'll get you a message on WhatsApp. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with using that app, but I'll get you that message. Great.
Yeah, it's the only way I can do it for right now. Again, the time difference and everything. It's already Sunday 9 a.m. And you gotta go, sweet lady and the baby and everything. So you take it.
Thanks, Ed.
Yeah.
Have a good night, man. Or good day, actually. Good day. Have a good day.
I've got to get sleep. I haven't slept all night, actually. I've been up reading the book.
Well, yeah, I know how that goes. All right, get some rest, Ed. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Okay. Peace.
Sorry about the echo, you guys. It's a new glitch in the system. It shouldn't be doing it, but it does. I just have to mute when people are talking. All right, Sebastian, you gotta be really quick. Sweet Lady's about to kill me.
Yeah, two quick big findings. I just posted the 2 links in the chat. So the state bishop of Washington just did a prayer for the Spokane fires, and guess what his name equals? His name is Thomas A. Daly, and of course it's 38, just like fire. And you know what else is funny? I also posted this. The fire chief in Spokane, his name is Tom Williams, 47, and the address to the main fire station in Spokane is 44. It's 44 Riverside Avenue, like military. But yeah, that was all I want. Oh, and so that Pope, that bishop, he went to a Jesuit high school also. And he was appointed by Pope Francis on May 20th, 2015, just like Pope, just like Enlil. So yeah, that was all I had to add.
Yeah, I covered a lot of that. That's Cannonball Day. That's the day Ignatius Loyola got shot with a cannonball. Mr. Go forth and set the world on fire, May 20th.
All right, that's it. Bye.
Yeah, and again, you guys, he did add, though, that the fire stations at the address 44 are going with, remember, the fire started exactly 44 weeks after the anniversary of the recognition of the Jesuits, and it also started 44 days before Pope Leo's birthday. And part of me thinks Seattle equals 44. I think it has to do with the rigged Super Bowl and, you know, again, military. So yeah, we got some nice additions here. I'm going to continue to write this little book behind the scenes. I actually got quite a bit of writing done, but I think probably about a third of the way. So a couple more sessions, and I can write a lot faster when I'm not doing a live stream, but yeah, we got something nice here. And wow, I mean, wow, this find about Farinacci and the killing of the father in history, and now I get it, man. I mean, how it's in the time of Pope Paul, and the guy who saw Farinacci, his name is Paul Child. I mean, come on, you guys. Look at it. Paul Child, 86. He ends up in court on August 6th, 8-6. Spokane, Washington, 86. Old Trails Fire, 86. Old Trails Road, 86. Jesuits, they've been traveling some old trails, 86. On and on and on and on and on. It's just... yeah, these people, man, getting away with murder. Literally. They're above the law. They're like the real Steven Seagals. Shout out to the Super Chatters, Rum with Ty. Again, just search. There's a lot of good videos out there on the Jesuits. Lots of them. Shout out to John Mendoza. Shout out to Leper Messiah. Shout out to John Mendoza again. Shout out to Leper Messiah again. All right, I'll keep working away at this book. September 5th, man, who's coming out? I know almost everybody out there has more free time than me. I just pretty much I'm making Sweet Lady mad right now. I need to get back to family duties. But yeah, this stuff needs to be called out too, so Sweet Girl doesn't grow up in again, the same world that the rest of us are going to be put in, you know, a world we don't want to be in. Smoke us out every summer until they got us in the Freedom City. People better wake up. All right, we'll continue this conversation later, Truth Seeker. If anybody else has any big truth bombs out there, because I mean, this was an atomic bomb right here, figuring out this history of Farinacci and where this girl fits in, who supposedly killed her father, who died on 9/11. Oh my! Don't forget how important Washington State is to 9/11. The guy who designed the World Trade Centers from Washington State, Boeing from Washington State, Magnus and Klemenkic Associates who helped build the towers from Washington State. The Ground Zero was the Manhattan Project. Again, the Manhattan Project, New York, where the World Trade Centers were. The bomb developed out here in Washington State. Ground Zero, 127. Buildings 1, 2, and 7 fell. Somehow most Americans still don't know about Building 7. All right. Yeah, I wish there was more people down for the cause, more support. Here I am going to be volunteering a lot of time again, a lot of energy, and I already know, man, there's not going to be a whole lot of support behind it because most people are just spectators, which is why the cabal is going to continue to win. But I'm going to keep fighting the fight because somebody's got to be the good example. So, all right. Anyway, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Till next time.